Welcome back to the PEC Weekly Cups. We're here in week 4 where we will be deciding who's going through to PEC. We finally have those week 4 and 5 moments that we've been talking about almost incessantly for the last 3 weeks at least. But we're here now. So there is a little bit more on the line. Let's say a little bit more on the line because everyone's still been playing for those placement points overall on the tables to get up towards the top side to get the qualification. But right now, there is that cheeky ability to just squeeze yourself in.
It's always a cheeky ability to squeeze yourself.
Hey,
I'll take it. I'm from Essex. I'll take it. But you know, look, I don't know why I did this, but I went away after last week and then obviously Wednesday. I was like, hey guys, what are you going to do differently this week? Like, are you going to go for more points? Are you going to go for a win? Every single one of the IGLs and the players I spoke to were like, Mark, there's not a question about it. We've got to win today.
Well, I mean, I think that's the big thing we were discussing, right? Is a case of, is it going to be the usual suspects at the top? Is it going to be Team Nemesis, Jogo Bonito? Is it going to be construction workers up there? Going to be taking this week and then just solidifying? I haven't really spoken to you too much about this. What if we have the same winner 2 weeks running? We just what do we do then? We drop it down another spot? I guess so. That's the only way.
Well, this is that's one of the things is they will still use this as practice. Why wouldn't they? If they do get a qualification, and today, and you're rightfully so, if it's a good highlight. Is that why not come back next week? Why not try and come into the cups? Because actually, you're still fighting against some teams that you're going to be fighting in the next stage in the playoffs. Yeah,
and again, you need to figure out all these rotations. It's good practice for everyone. It really is. And you're right. In terms of figuring out the rotations overall, who plays like what. And the more times you play, I mean, for Team Nemesis construction workers, technically, whoever does the analysis on their side, they've been through a lot of work, all right, in the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit intense. They've got to figure out new teams every single week because they're making it in every single week. They can't just sit down on the back end because not only do they have to do the analysis, then they've got to play. So it's a lot of work, but I think both those squads at least have been definitely putting in the grind. I think for No Slack as well as Jogo Bonito, Mark, it's more a case on the kill points. I think mechanically, they're both there right now. It's the rotations that we're kind of looking a little bit more at today.
Jogo Bonito is one of these teams, though, that actually gave me a bit more of an insight. I
did
don't know whether they're covering themselves a little bit. Maybe. I'll take this with a little pinch of salt. Like, you can fill in the gaps, right? But okay. I just filled in the gaps. The last couple of weeks, Mark, we was kind of trolling. We was just going to try new things. And we was doing this and doing that because we knew we was always qualified, blah, 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 blah. And they said that they're going to come back week number 4 and get the win. Hey, chat, take that with a pinch of salt. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that's not. But hey, let's remind everyone why we got here. So obviously, we are in the spring format. There are obviously 2 formats for the year. And we are down in week number 4. We've done week 4 scrims. We're on week 4 cup. And there's that blue little tick at the top, which is winners will go straight through. They'll bypass the cup leaderboard. So relevant, as Blank was saying, or where they land on that leaderboard, if they're at the top, if they're at the bottom, or in the middle, or they're just a brand new team here that haven't even put some points in the cup leaderboard, it doesn't matter. They will be going straight through to the playoffs. Yeah,
you can kind of see the arrow there just going straight behind the cup leaderboard. I didn't quite catch that beforehand. I thought it was just an arrow that just went forward. I didn't quite catch the arrow on the other side. It's been 3 weeks now. I feel a bit embarrassed not to notice that. But yeah, let's take a look at the point system, which again, you're all probably very familiar with if you're here with me and Mark right now. You know, we're in the trenches right now for PUBG. This is where the stars are born, right at the bottom of the rung. But a lot of these teams will climb up, you know, and some of these teams may be champions by the end of the year. You never know. This is just how things do go down. Here are our attending teams for today. We have, weirdly, I would say this is probably a weird mix, honestly, for us this time around, Mark. There's been, you know, there's still familiar faces, Hive, Construction Workers, X-Howl, Team Nemesis. But I think we have a lot of other teams we haven't really seen too much.
No, 6-7 coming in, another CIS team, very, very strong. Lacosta is the same, Italian Sam, but they're a CIS team. They're coming in again. They're a pretty strong team. They've done really well through the qualifiers, so we expect to see sort of how they attend. Then we got those mid packs, so Boars, etc. Teams that are already with points on the leaderboards. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do because teams like No Tag, PGG, PGG is definitely one to watch today, by the way. They are lower down that leaderboard because we're looking for that top 19. They're a team that actually, do you know what? If I was to say if it wasn't those top teams that could maybe get a win, I think PGG might steal it today.
That's interesting. That's interesting. What is it about PGG that makes you say that?
They're definitely momentum. So we've got to look at their first. They've got to look at their first game and see actually how they kind of achieve and what they do. But when they get the kind of wheels rolling, they are a strong team, and they're not a team that's always focused on, right. They're like one of these teams that kind of work their way to the middle of the zones and they will fight their way out. They try to avoid some of the outside edge play unless they have to. If they have to, they're really good at taking head-to-head gunfights. When we look at the likes of Presenti, Salik, Zuila, Sloy as well, all of that team is super strong. So they're able to take 1v1s, 2v1s, and then look for kills. So they are kind of like that no slack. They are kind of like that Jogger Benito. But actually, through this week, they're top of the leaderboard. And when we saw them pre sort of the coming into the line of the cups, etc., they were a team that done pretty well early on. They had a bit of a slip off, so we didn't see them for the last couple of weeks, but they seem to be back really, really well.
Okay, cool. Good to know. I mean, when we last watched Sloy, I thought Sloy was really good. He was definitely one of the players that caught my attention just a little bit. But yeah, I think if you are flying underneath the radar, a lot of times you aren't getting bombarded by those mortars, which is nice. But yeah, getting to position is a really big thing. Being able to get like a lot of free reign in the zone when you're not a team that people have read into their rotations too much and you're just able to slip on by, that is a massive benefit, I would say, a lot of times. Something that's sort of underestimated, I'd even go as far to say. I think there's a lot of teams in plenty of other tournaments I've watched where, you know, they weren't the tiger of the lobby, but they managed just to sweep on through, kind of undetected, stealthed into like a second or a third, or even potentially a first. So yeah, I'm curious. Definitely curious now you said that.
Yeah, definitely team to watch. And they are sleeping targets, put it that way. Some other ones which are worth mentioning, especially on the lower side of the leaderboard, that we have returns. Teams like Voptrox, our German team with our English player of Blist, coming in. They actually had a pretty tough week. They kind of did work their way through, they done well, and then it came to kind of the scrims, the final day 3, and it came down to the last game for them. They had to send it into a compound. Their crash was terrible. They can admit it. It was a terrible crash. And then they had to sit in chat blank and watch where the rest of the lobby ended up. And it came to a case, actually, we made some mistakes here. We're relying on the team that we need to win, because if this other team wins, then we're going to be going out. Yeah. So I'm hoping they've kind of looked back at Wednesday and gone, do you know what? Yes, we made a mistake. We can identify that crash was not great and what we did wrong. Because this lobby, as always, is going to be tougher because it's the top 16 teams, and obviously, but they're a team that when we've got a locked 16 teams, they tend to be okay. They get used to how people rotate instead of that round robin style.
You know what? I think we had this conversation last week about those kind of Hail Mary crashes too, where sometimes you have to go for them. I mean, if they admitted also they were like in that moment that it's a horrible crash and was definitely shouldn't have gone for it, then fair enough to them. But I do think that's something that this lobby definitely struggles with right now. I say this lobby, I'm talking about probably 60 teams right now, which is a bit crazy. But yeah, in terms of a lot of these squads, they're a little bit afraid sometimes to go for those types of crashes. We saw that last week from Yo, which was a little bit sad to see, honestly, because I do think if they went for that crash, it was more than likely they were going to hit it. But they're back again. I think that's the main thing. They're back again every single week right now, so they're easily qualifying at this point. But this week, definitely want to see them puff out their chest a little bit. I think you used that phrase last week, and I definitely agreed with it. You know, they have to puff out their chest a bit.
Yeah, they do. They try and fight for that space, because we know space is key, information is key, especially on that TPP format. Other notes we need to keep an eye on, because there will be a definite team puffing out their chest, and that's Team Yo. They've gone through a transition actually last week. They obviously picked up a sub in Starry Sky, so they stole one of their players and they moved over rosters. Able to do that blank because obviously Cappy was listed as a sub for the team, so he's able to kind of move. Unfortunately for Nedix, though, he has been subbed onto the bench. It has made a change. It's not as good as I'd like it to be at the moment, as again a transition into a very midway of a competition is tough. Cappy, strong gunner though, so definitely a player to watch out for. Really worked well with Starry Skies. They didn't make it through this time now, but actually when you bolster that with PWD, James and Michael, Cappy kind of fits that last piece of the puzzle nicely. So again, an outside bet for me. Yes, I'm not looking at the kind of Jogmanitos, construction workers, etc. for a straight win. But a team that actually, again, if they get a good start here, they should be top of that leaderboard and maybe fighting for that golden ticket.
Yeah, I think, you know, I was actually talking to Claris about this before we got to today about Cappy coming in. He had a lot of good things to say about Cappy overall, you know, coming from his hometown. Not his original hometown, but his current hometown. But yeah, I think that from when I saw him playing on Starry Skies, I was quite impressed, though. I was quite impressed. I feel like he had a lot of impact on that squad, even as a sub there. So getting switched out over towards Yo, maybe it's the thing they need. I do think that the fact they weren't able to sub out during the day was affecting them slightly, where they were, you want to switch things up a little bit, especially get to match 3. You got match 1 and 2, maybe things aren't gelling. You switch it up a little bit, match 3. It doesn't work then, but someone's had a break, you bring it back in, you refresh mentality. So no matter what happens, it's like a win-win scenario. And I think for Yo, with the games they've been having, where it really has been kind of racking on the mental, you do want to be able to have a switch that you're comfortable going for. Now, we're not sure what happened with Nedex, but wish him all the best for the time being. Hopefully he gets to see some more play in the future.
You got to remember they're mid-pack on the table, right? When we look at the table a little bit later on, but and I think it would be really critical, especially halfway through today, going into next week, actually where these sort of teams fall, because some of these teams in that mid-pack are not in. So it actually means that they'll be looking for these teams that are qualifying, that are beneath them, PGGs, etc. The Uptrock should be going higher up on that leaderboard table. And we look at a team Yo, they are in, they're right in the middle, but it's key for them to continue that sort of drive forward with points, because depending on where they finish up next week or the end of next week, it's depending on what point they kind of enter into PEC in the playoffs. So you want to try and make sure that you get into the first sort of round, because you're going to kind of get that double elimination. If you don't get it right first time, you get another stab at it as well, because don't forget, we're bringing the regional partner teams. These are teams that haven't been practicing. I have spoken about this because I thought this might be an issue for them, but arguably as well, they've also been sitting there, as you say, taking the notes, understanding the rotations, and they've got 5 weeks worth of data that they can go on with these teams.
Yeah, they've been poking the guinea pigs right now, running on the treadmill inside of Erangel, which is going to come up very shortly. They're trying to figure out what's going on. You know, is it a different water that's required here? Do we need to not silhouette as much? That's also a question. But yeah, again, these guys are basically the experiment subjects at the moment. They're doing a great job, by the way, getting paid handsomely for it. I'd hope. I don't have the inner scoop on that right now, but they are definitely still their experimental subjects for TPP. But you're absolutely right. People are going to take note on this. They're going to figure out what people are doing differently, if at all. I think right now, one of the biggest things is people giving too much credence to compounds. I think that let me rephrase this, because I do think that it's important to talk about. Beforehand, when we were watching a lot of FPP, it's like you could comfortably crash a compound because you knew they didn't have sightlines on you if you didn't see anyone peeking. Now I think people are very afraid that like someone's always looking at that position. When you're looking at a building that's got 7 windows, you only have 4 players. It's not likely all 4 players give me that one building. Sometimes you got to send it. Sometimes you got to give it a bit of a send. I think a lot of players are giving it way too much credence that a player is on their toes 24/7. That's just not the case.
Yeah. And you got to remember, we've got to add to this, it's utilities key, crashing and defending compounds, and we're not seeing everyone picking up exactly the amount they need. I'd expect regional partner teams to have that discipline anyway, so we've seen that in PGS, especially coming through to the finals, that how important that has been. People are still learning. I don't think we know yet in our region whether we're kind of the hold a compound, go center, go early, rotate late, try and take the outside fights. I think we're still trying to figure that out, and it's interesting for me because we are seeing these teams adapt in different ways. So we've got some which are really good at taking those outside edge fights. We have a handful of teams, mainly the Turkish teams, that like to go crash into the center compound and lock it down. And then
I love it.
I still don't think we've kind of worked out what the EMEA meta is just yet, but we are kind of watching it week on week at the moment, adapt and change, and these players are learning.
It's sort of weird, right? I think that Team Nemesis typically wins when we're on outside circle, where you have some urban buildings towards the middle, some compounds available, and then it shifts away and they're playing on the outside edge. They've got a ridge and they just mow everyone down. Vice versa, you go to an urban finish and we are ending up in a compound. Construction workers typically will win, or a team that's been able to get towards that compound early will win. But I think the thing is that more often than not, it is going over towards Team Nemesis. I think they have been quite lucky with a lot of these shifts towards the end game. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but from the amount of times that we've seen a circle like suddenly shift northeast and it's like onto open ground where Team Nemesis is playing, I think they have been lucky. That's not to say they haven't played well though.
No, and you got to remember there's some players in the lobby, and we will highlight Team Nemesis because they have ex-pro players or pro players. We've got to classify them as, right? And because they've had the LAN experience, they've had the regional format experience, they've gone through the hard yards. So the expectations are for them is they should be picking the right compounds, they should be rotating. The one thing I worry about with Team Nemesis, and I'm a big fan, they're not able to convert to a first. So when we look at this week, this whole getting a pass, they're at the very last stages. They have a team which takes over from them. They have a team that they're always coming second and second and second. Maybe this week's different. Maybe they've been just taking their foot off the gas because they have the discipline, they have the skill set, they do pick up the utility, and they can shoot, and they can shoot really well.
Yeah, well, their playstyle is very consistent though, right? But it doesn't invite a lot of kills into the game, I find. I think they end a lot of games with like, on their good games, they end like 8 to 12 kills, which is a decent amount, but we're looking at teams finishing games out with 14, 16 kills total, and that's a lot of points added onto the top of it, because you're looking at an 18-point game versus a 26-point game. I think that for Team Nemesis, that's sort of not their fault though, because that's just the playstyle they go for. They sweep the edges. If there's no one on the edge to sweep, then they don't get any kills towards mid-game, early game. So you're not pumping those points early on. So I do think again, we're banging on a lot about Team Nemesis right now, but like me and Mark said, we're both big fans. Okay, so you're just gonna have to deal with that for a second.
They're not to the leaderboard though. They're not to the leaderboard. Construction workers are up there. That's what I'm saying. They start about one step away from being the top of the leaderboards, and they do. You're right. They do have a great level of consistency. We see that in every single game. They're able to spread out and farm information. They've learned that quite quickly as well. And when they find that mid game, you're 100% right. They will sit on the outside edge if they can, and they will take advantage of that one. And then they will take every kill that they can get, and they, to my overview, my 2p in, they can overload teams really, really well. If they need to apply pressure, they will all stack up and apply pressure.
Right.
And it's like them. And it's like, okay, we don't need to go this way. Hey, Diffix or Society, you hold that one as a single person because we don't need to go that way. But the moment they know they have to go a certain way, they just overload. They throw bodies, they throw guns, and if they've got a BRDM, they will send it forwards.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about this too much more anyway, but if you do want to know more about it, Mark uploaded a very lovely YouTube video on Team Nemesis and why they do play into those late circles, so make sure you watch that and support him over on his channel. In the meantime, though, Construction Workers, who are on top, this is a unbelievably good team. They are so fantastic. I think a lot of teams are learning from them in terms of the wide splits that they go for. I think that's one of the main things that teams are kind of buying into. Some teams are doing a little bit worse than others, and it's looking a little bit lopsided. But, you know, it's got to be done. Like you say, a meta hasn't quite fully formed here just yet, but it is on the way. It is on the way. And I think a lot more times, I think teams are going to start figuring out that I think the issue is going to come when teams aren't sure whether to play edge or play center. But I think with TPP, a lot of times the realistic answer to that is it depends, right? It depends on how the game's unfolding. It depends on how the week's unfolding. When we only have one day here, it's very difficult for teams to kind of switch things up on the fly because we're having different teams coming in all the time. When we get a consistent, it might not be 24 teams, you're switching those out, that's kind of fine. But when we go to 3 days in a row, it's like you start figuring out, oh, this team's playing on the edge a lot more. So we'll play on the edge. And then, okay, a team might think to themselves halfway through the day, there's a lot of teams on the edge. Let's play center. We have a lot of free reign there. And I think that's when we'll start to see things kick off a lot more. Right now, it's more about how well certain teams can play their individual style. And I think Construction Workers, it's like early splits into a decisive late game finish. Of the Team Nemesis, it's more sweeping that edge. And we choose both of these teams because they are absolutely at top of their game right now inside the PEC Cups.
Yeah, we can't hide the fact. If anyone's thinking who the hell are Construction Workers, they're not like 4 guys with high-vis jackets like with steel toe cap boots just rolling around on a weekly basis. No, this is the X phase roster. Yes, they don't have the full, but it is Gustav Fard, it is Fex, and then they put Nade up in X and Tropic. He is an outstanding player, and he is fitting this puzzle really well. But we've got to stop waffling anyway, because it's game number 1, Blank. We need to get things done. It's going to be a wrangle. We've only got 5 games, and it's week number 4.
It is indeed. So let's kick things off for week number 4 of the PEC Spring Cup. And this week we will be crowning a champion of the week, that is. But that champion will be going directly through to PEC, where they can become an even bigger champion later on down the line. But there is some big old stakes here for us all. And we're hoping today they will be well done.
It might be well done. It's not bad. Medium rare playing path as it comes in from the southeast up towards the northwest. Does favour a little bit more into that northeast area. Should be a good split. Do worry, especially if we get an early zone. It does go across to kind of like military islands, but we'll have to wait and see. And most of our consistent teams here, no changes with the drops. We kind of seen that Jogger Bonito going for that school flats. We're going to have Team Nemesis going for Severny, but they've been learning that they can claim a lot of territory there as well. And for teams like No Slack, Hive, Normal, South George, and they're obviously for Hive, they're going to try and extend as far as they can towards Gatka.
Yourself out there. Again, for Hive, it's a very nice start for them. They get a huge amount of space. Sort of depends on the circle, though, really, doesn't it? Which does head directly over towards the eastern side of the map. Very much, there's a lot less space to work with right now, but teams have generally been very good with this type of circle. We have quite a few different teams in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jogger Bonito rotating a little bit earlier this time. I think in the past they've waited a little bit too long, and then those, we know it very well, but the full send from Jogger Bonito doesn't go quite so well because there is limited space on this side. When you're playing around Prison, when you're playing around Lumberyard, these are sort of isolated areas on the map.
Yeah, and there are some isolated areas here because we have to take into account obviously that water section. And we look at the map on the right hand side where we've got a team like Voptrox. They've spread out. Burns obviously down by Prison. We've got two obviously sitting in Lepovka. And they've got to potentially collapse in quite early. That water's going to play a factor. So we're going to come back down towards the southeast, or it's going to play into that kind of northeast segment. And for some of these teams, like we're seeing Jogger Bonito, like we're seeing Redline now, it's about getting early rotation. Get the early rotation. Yes, you might not have the loot you need, but you'll find yourself a position.
Yeah, and I think for Jogger Bonito, that's absolutely fine for them because I think that when they get through those stronger spots, then they can go for like some more, let's say, informed full sense late game. Well, that's where Jogger Bonito just looks up to the sky and prays and then puts the foot down to the pedal, hopes it works out. Sometimes he answers, sometimes he doesn't, the good old PUBG god. But Redline, glad to see this initial start from them. It's a really small thing for Redline. I think they struggled on the very initial rotate, and Jogger Bonito, especially on Erangel, was giving them a lot of problems. This time they were very well prepared for that early send out on the eastern side of apartments. So I was very impressed by that. Quick adjustments there from Redline. Well done. Quick adjustments.
They do find themselves a new home. Construction workers, though, looking to try and take the top of Lumberyard, Fex, and the early rotation as well. So again, they're coming up from that sort of mill to power. So they've played a little bit more to the north. I think they're going to try and capture some of these teams on those rotation paths because some teams will look at this and go, do you know what? It's going mill to power as a gamble. So let's play down towards the other side. 6-7 on the other hand, though, with a cheeky cheek pad. The boom has kept the car hidden, at least from Fex at the moment, but I'm going to have a little guess in the dark that he caught that rotation between one of the houses to the other.
I'm not sure how I feel about the name 6-7 for a team.
It's hard to cast as well because you start going 6-7.
6-7, 6-7. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to say that every time. And it's even worse because then it's just their team name, so I have to say it seriously? Is that what you're asking of me right now? I have to say 6-7 in not a jovial way.
I'll give us 2 games and it'll be 4. The boom, though, he hasn't seen that construction workers are here. He went for some loot. He went for the rotation and he was the first person out the door. He's going to fall composed, in control. Fex finds the first kill.
Yeah, I mean, that is very dangerous trying to make that play outside from Lumberyard because we talked about it before, it's very isolated. You can't really see on the outside. A lot of times you're using audio cues to figure out that area of the map. For VOD to set up there, it's a cheeky spot to be in, and they don't check those angles. I mean, you got to fully clear out Lumberyard if you want to play there, and it's sort of obvious that that's not the case. You got to buddy up, pair up, and send out. Can't go as one in a vehicle, get sprayed down, and then instantly that player's halfway down the hill by the time you've even figured it out. Exhal, though, getting into a nice spot. I don't mind that position at all. I think it has good sightlines out to the side. It is a little bit more stressful because you're trying to hold across 2 spaces. But someone can get in towards that wizard tower just ahead of them if they wanted to. It's not ideal, but you are protected from the buildings underneath you.
Yeah, I think it's when we see that sort of zone shift. If it does come back this way, that'd be definitely a place. If a team hasn't got an area that they go, oh, do you know what? We need to take somewhere. Let's take the tower. And we might lose some bodies, but we will ensure we'll get to late game. Vobtrox, though, on the other hand, they have left the seaside resort. And they've played more into prison. As they will guard this one up. An area not bad. Like let's be honest, we've seen a lot of zones end this way, but I do worry that when you get stuck inside a prison, you don't really get the kills that you need. And yes, you might get some placement, but you tend to get bullied, especially from the teams that are on the I suppose the south side of this one. So I'm interested to see how they kind of play out. Mixon no sitting on the compound not too far away. That's going to give them a line of sight, especially onto the sort of east side if any team sort of tried to park up in there. But for now, as long as they keep these bodies spread out, I'm happy. But they need to also be reactive to teams that are working around them.
Yeah, I always find an early send to prison kind of weird. Because for me, prison's always like a last resort type of deal. When I head there last... you know, you lost a player on your side, someone's pimp slapped you, and that's where you head to, right? You're about straight to prison. But I don't want to straight to prison. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. That I don't want to go there straight away. I think I want to play, like you say. I think the south side of prison's great. Playing on the rocky outcrops there, fantastic spot to work around. I don't think it's worth going into this spot early. Okay, nice shots. There's not much more to say about that, right?
Yeah, and that's why he's there. So PGG be getting involved head-to-head as they go against 6-7, as they have caught construction workers. Now looking down towards that kind of east, southeast, now seeing the line of sight. Does find another one. They'll be getting the kill feed here. And yes, maybe holding the high ground will be a better option for construction workers, but they're qualified. Taking out a team like PGG, that could be huge for them. As Vex, well, now Chris over the other side. Sadiq comes into the line of sight as he bunny hops himself to safety just for now.
Yeah, Sonic just about the way, like you say. He's still taking tags though here and there, and honestly, for construction workers, they could put the final nail in the coffin. Healing back up again. Yeah, construction had such a good amount of control over towards the south side so far. Unfortunate as well, because 6-7 is obviously trying to get away from construction workers. They know that they've claimed lumberyard and they can't really hold on to anymore. They head down. PGG's like, wow. 3 kills? Sure. Only to get shot in the side of the head. Yeah, nightmare scenario there for PGG. I think it's a weird one as well, because I think for PGG, they're like, oh, we're fighting over lumberyard right now. That's what's happening. But again, you got to assume if someone's pushing down that way, it's because they've been dismounted. It's a tough call to make in those moments. We're only 8 minutes into the game as well. For all they know, lumberyard is completely free.
Yeah, because you'll be looking at kind of Miltar. Does construction workers stay there? No, not this time. They've gone for the early rotation. They would have said they've seen the kill feeds. I think they were trying to figure out exactly where they were, but getting caught on that kind of rotation, that climb to lumberyard, they obviously have come across. Now, Sadiq, you can see him. He's in the car. He's going to rotate back towards the southeast position. I think he might be looking to figure out if he can get hold of it. Those sort of blue chips, maybe get a second chance here for PGG, but as it stands, he's on his own and he's got to keep his head down.
Back on the ball with PMA. Little glider in effect, just about touching the blue zone right now. These guys are very far out there on the northwest side, just crossing over towards Yaz. They might even pass straight through Rozok as well. Mm-hmm. I do really want to see a multi-power finish. I don't think we've seen it just yet. When we last had this circle, it went over towards Crate side. Yeah. But I do enjoy a multi-power finish, man. They're always fun.
Oh, good. Good to see, obviously, Nemesis literally copy and paste in their same rotation path. You jinxed it again. And Steedo, definitely worth noting that he will hang out in that kind of northeast corner, and he's waiting for those wider rotations, and that's where these kind of team Nemesis will pick up points. That zone shift, though, does sort of come across, copy and paste sitting in the middle now, so teams like Yo are going to be happy. They might get back out to that sort of road on the west and try and stop any team sort of backfilling their location. But it is going to be kind of, for a lot of these teams, hunker down, try and find a position, keep the cars active.
Yeah, again, cars are going to be a massive deal on this type of area. We are lacking significant buildings that are going to create a huge amount of influence in this game. So for teams, it's a lot of a lot of ditch work, right? A lot of ditch work you got to go for. And a bit of this as well. Damage the vehicles as they pass. You can get yourself maybe potentially a knock as they head on through. The 7 is moving in. Good tag, but bam, good shots back, honestly. Tata has to back away. Again, no psych. I was going to say they're a great team when it comes to the kill side of things, so I was sort of surprised they didn't get at least one of them, but immediately Scav does prove me right, which I'm happy to see.
Always there to help out Scav. But yeah, 7G, tough rotation for them. A lot of teams obviously were a little bit spread out. I know they were arguably trying to consolidate their way around, but they've really collapsed in. Vubtrox, though, with Voryx. Now eyes on. The rest of the team did leave kind of prison, and with that, they're working their way back to this location. I think he'd be looking for an opportunity to get that knock and flush, because it is going to have to be a hit and run for him. But the opportunity hasn't quite presented just yet. I think Cobra might be the first idea, but also concerned they might have a little back. Does get 1, does get 2. With the headshot, though, will put him down, but unable to get that flush.
Yeah, instant for the M79 there. Gets the smoke in, but a good knock off the back of it. Voryx looking for a little bit more here. It's an incredible double that he gets off the bat. Was waiting for the player to peek out from the tower. Baiting the shots a little bit, but you're right. His team is so far away right now. They're on the opposite end of prison. I didn't know.
Did you see the ping? So he looks across to the right, and he's pinged that right-hand side. So I wouldn't be surprised for one of the teams to rotate to the other side of the road now. Voryx, though, a couple more shots. Sata trying to save the rest of the team as they get to Scav.
Yeah, you're right.
But it won't be long. Yeah, look, Blist is now coming down the road. I wouldn't be too surprised if he stays pretty close here or goes to the other side of the road to try and get these firsts.
The thing is that they're just trying to get the re-smokes out, but Bliss kind of gives away the position. Does have the Panzer, though.
Leroy!
Okay.
Send it!
All right, send it, send it. That looks decent to me.
Oh! Nice try, Bliss. Nice try.
I mean, for Noshlat, this is a Herculean effort to get their players back up again. This is very much felt like a dead to rights moment for at least 2 of the players, but very good resilience here coming through from No Slack. They're very well known for this type of thing. Scrappy play style. Happy to roll with the punches.
Looks like Vubtrox, though, getting an indication that they've got a bit of danger coming in from that northeast corner. And as you see, the zone, that mini-map has shifted heavy towards the north. It's gone back towards Mansion. So Mixon obviously making the call back. Blitz disengaging now. Now look at the calls here. No tag teams. Had a 2-2 split. Mansion all the way across now. They've actually given up that northeast corner. They will go for a full send across the field and try and get there early, because a lot of teams have to migrate from the south.
Yeah, a little bit worried for Redline right now, because they are holding across 2 separate compounds. I think they need to regroup on this one. I don't think it's worth holding all players in this location. A couple of shots going back their way. They do send at least 3 onto 1 spot, and then they're going to regroup back over towards the north side. This is good from Redline.
Yeah, it's good play from Redline. They're playing taxi service, aren't they? They definitely didn't have a car in that kind of junkyard, so they've gone back to Hall of Fame. Interesting that we didn't see Boars try and see that rotation away and maybe try and take that, but they've been hunkered down here. Jogger Benito in a bit of a battle out of shelter. Engage with them. Hive also situated with them as well. So you tend to find that doesn't really get too messy to start with. It's more when the blue zone starts pushing these teams out. But again, other teams like Team Low had to back in on the sort of south side. Now there isn't the space to be had because Boars didn't take that compound. Now they're causing problems.
Yeah, Jeem's already going down for the start of it. A bit rough, especially on this slope here. Instantly has to get the smoke across towards Jeems, keep him alive a little bit longer. Key second tags here. Yeah, this is a nasty spot to be in. For Yo, though, it's no worse than it was for No Slack, right? So they're going to have to pull something special out here. Gonna hunker down. Set up the auto turrets a little bit. On the backside, but they're taking shots from elsewhere now, so I think that is from Hive and Co across the way. This is rough. This is very rough for Yo.
This is horrible. It's not even just for them. Like, Boars is making an aggressive stance, great. But look at this, no slack. We know they're a gritty team. They're taking knocks. Hello Senpai was in a great spot. Now we see Voptrox reading the kill feed as well. They're getting involved. And everyone on the south side is fighting for little to no space.
Voptrox still, it's funny that Voptrox really hasn't taken that much of a beating on this side of the map. I feel like they've been involved in quite a few fights, but again, that's what this high ground will do for you, especially in prison. Cappy going down here to Jogo Bonito, Kristalny. That's the pull out the K9 to finish the job. Yeah, Yo really gets sandwiched in. And again, it was sort of a losing battle as soon as James goes down, right? Because you're a race against time there, trying to pick him back up, trying to get situated in a better position. James was still up. They could have maybe left quicker. Yeah, Yo does go down to 16th.
I think it was also reliant on that, but also for Boars. Boars were driving away from this location, and then for whatever reason, they turned back and they got a knock on James. And it was because they turned back, there was never a release of pressure for Team Yo. Yes, we obviously got no slap pushing. Yes, we've got Voptrox also getting involved as well. Zone shifting its way down towards prison. Recall comes in 670 with eyes in the sky. Voptrox have seen this. But again, remember I mentioned before, this sort of holding the outside of prison, I think, is going to be a lot stronger for Voptrox. So again, a team, let's see if they can hold the south.
Yeah, way, way better. So they'll immediately see those parachutes going in and they can lock them down. So they'll become the wardens of the prison now, which is what I like to see. Construction workers with nail up a little bit further down the hill. The man from X-Howl almost... Whoa! Okay.
He got damage from it as well. That was a full nade. Mad ones into a huge nade, but 7G, lucky enough they will fall. With the help of nail up though, high side. Nearly as high as that car as it tried to be parked on top of the roof of the tower. And construction workers, 8 kills already, phase 4. And now they've got the next target in sight.
Yeah, I'd be mad. I'd be mad. At the mad for all that kind of driving. Unfortunate. Not able to quite get it onto the rooftop. Or at least, I guess the other strat is to block off the door, potentially. I don't know, man. I don't know. I actually don't know what the plan was, but definitely not that. Doesn't get knocked either. So strong knees on that lad.
Yeah, he took a tumble. He took a tumble, but he didn't go all the way down. Jogo Bonito is taking a little bit of a tumble here. Hard keeping an eye on to shelter. Boars strengthening their way out. No slack, unfortunately, losing numbers, and as a result, is down to IXE. Hicks is down. Hello Senpai will fall as a second knock for him. Has to try and open the door. Do worry the moment you kind of get up those steps, you come visible. I suppose with How or X-How having to move on, it's allowed the guys just to kind of coexist here with no slack. IXE.
I want to go for
blue
something.
Zone. About to say he won't stop. He's definitely going to go in there. Now might be a free for one. He's got one. Potentially gets the second. There's one. Does he get the second? Does get the second knock. Might need to be the confirm, but they come charging in here. No tag want the kill. It's a jump shot hold. Oh my god. Boars will fall 13th place here. No tag pick up one, but it's only not one and done. Good play from IXE. Able to sort of claw out an additional point.
Yeah, I mean, IXE turns the oven on and no tag team, they'll stoke the flames. Double molly into the bottom side. You see them just posted up against the wall as well. It's a very sad death animation, honestly. It's sat in some flames. But overall, yeah, well done. Well done to no tag team. Identified a very, very good opportunity there for themselves at the back of IXE. Not only did they realize they were getting a knock and a flush off the back of that, but also potentially they could capitalize and get themselves a good position, which they absolutely have now with the next circle shift, which does go over towards prison side, cuts out most of the eastern high ground, but still keeps it in over towards the western side. Fortunately for Voptrox is that X-Howl have made themselves home on the western edge.
Very nice. There's a big shift back down towards that southeast. Red line have now gone out. 6-7 obviously had a recall. Now we saw PGG get the recall as well. So Sadiq able to get his boys back, but he's well out in the blue. He's sort of trying to make the run in the gauntlet in phase 5. He will be coming in on that southeast corner towards prison. So Sloy and Presenti, they're going to be happy. Hive, on the other hand, like Jogo Bonito, having to kind of leave shelter, but they are still kind of clashing heads without the space to sort of play. it's going to be reliant, and then we were going to have to inject Redline. You can see him in the mini-map now. Zico is kind of looking this way. If they can puff their feathers up a little bit, that will force Hive back into Jogo Bonito yet again.
I'm surprised Jogo Bonito this far into the game, honestly. It's a bit of a shift from the norm. Usually go down a lot earlier, but yeah, this is a wild send from Jogo Bonito. Absolutely deserved to go down there. Yeah. I mean, I think it was less of a jinx, but, you know, reading into a bit of a pattern, which has been forming over the last few weeks.
I did laugh when they said they're going to win today. I was like, what, on kills? And they're like, no, we've got this, Mark. We've got this. We're going to get straight through. A team that is looking to go straight through was Construction Workers as they continue to put points on the board. 12 kills here. Week number 4, game number 1. So I get my words out. Redline do go for a full send, understanding that Hive down bodies, and there's a quick confirm. Schengen will fall. He does actually get the knock on Ibis before he protects them.
It's really quite a thing to watch Naylup play recently. He's been so good. Nades are absolutely on point, and for a team that's on 4 players, we've mainly just been looking at the one-man army right here.
Cool as well to kind of like picture it when you first kind of look at the lineup, right? Because James leaves FaZe, he sets up his own team, right? And then sort of arguably FaZe not really in the mix. They're kind of like, we're just having fun and not putting a team together. Then you get the announcement that Naylup comes in, you're like, well, James was an IGL, what's Naylup doing, what's the dynamic? But it just works. Just point that guy in the right direction, put Fex behind him, covering him, and they're getting kills.
Yeah, he plays a very similar role to Diffex, really, where the rest of the team can just do their thing, and then as long as your Diffex just essentially being that front-mounted battering ram, you're good to go. Stayed here. High decky.
Great nade.
Tough. Hands of how sorry sent it in, but yes, it's a lovely nade. Very much on target and very much needed nade in this moment. You can see 2 players are on the ground here for Team Nemesis as they're coming in from the northeast side. Luckily for them, it's pretty barren around that area. They could quite comfortably play the entirety of the northwest side of the road here. Actually, that's a huge amount of space they're controlling at the moment. Wow.
The only advantage they've got is I suppose, because they're the only team there, they can kind of clock onto that ridge line. Vobchok's falling down in that full send of bodies and their kill feeds. Like the teams now have to send their way in. PGG now sort of digging their way out. 6-7 will fall. Exhale will be the defenders of the final stand here at Prison. Construction Workers, though, it won't be long before they get to those walls and start plastering them with some more kills. And they do have to get through no tags. They start to rotate now on that sort of west side.
Yeah, I mean, 15 kill games so far is already nutty to start off the day. So if it's anything to go by, they're looking to qualify today. Not even leave up the chance, and the chances were already very slim. But at least we can say they're confirmed after week 4. We'll wait and see. Again, it's the crystal ball looks promising right now for Construction Work.
We've got moments key for them. Nobody at the top of that leaderboard, so no matter what happens, they're coming into kind of playoff day number 1 because they are sitting that kind of 1st to 6th spot. I can't see that going away. Great nade, that should get VAR, but full set forward. Rafa does get nailed. VAR will go down as well. So Rafa 2-1 with the car attack from Naylup. Second, obviously, with the grenade towards VAR. It's down to Fex, making that 17 kills. Fex spreads out. Nemesis should start look at this location as an opportunity as Melbourne gets the confirmation for 1, gets the confirmation on 2. Steed will steal up Naylup as well, so that's all 3 there going to Team Nemesis, sending them up to 7 kills.
Yeah, that I think a much needed injection of a couple of points there for Team Nemesis if they want to catch up to Construction Workers, what they're doing this game. Bit of a mad push coming through from them. I think they were definitely feeling in that moment. Went straight for it. I think Fex was like a couple of seconds late. Yeah. But it's a super minor.
Fex.
Was that his own grenade?
Drawing out. No, so he launched a grenade in. The grenade came out as well. So he done one to clear the room so he could back up onto that side. Then that second nade went into that kind of little cubby hole in the back. And he was kind of drawing him out, putting smoke in the rabbit hole. Lucky enough, though, Team Nemesis eager watching. They did get the knock, or they get the kneel knock on towards Fex, forced him to go back underneath here. So again, they're going to kind of coexist. Fex will have to try and rely on Ainty here above him as Team Nemesis now cross over towards the south side. Now they try and hold as they are in center zone.
Again, it's so smart. It's funny as well, all that preamble we did about how construction workers, they play towards the center of the zone. They're happy to clear out players towards the middle. They get a load of kills off the back of that. And then potential chicken dinners. And Team Nemesis, they have low kill counts because they don't play in until the end. And it just writes itself.
Yep. You remember the point you was raising, that they were on the outside edge. They had playing the outside edge. Now they pushed in all the way to the outside edge and the other side of the zone, forcing everyone out. PGG will be out in 5th place. Now we'll go for a top 4. How they're sending it straight in towards Prison on the cards. They remain on the inside. But they've got the numbers 3 versus 3 versus 2 versus 1. And it's going to be a 2 versus 1. And then we're going to see this Clash of the Clans where it goes 3 versus 3.
At the top, but not quite able to find no tagging. Duffy's still getting work done over towards Ainty. Sleed will find the mad. Stun grenades. Pin pull, but Keys. I nade off the back of this. Can send that one in. Ooh, cheeky stun grenade off the back of it too.
Like
trying to make him to flub the nade. Yeah, this is awkward though. Again, Team Nemesis, great game from them. Very well done. Instant move across the road as soon as they hear a lot of the fighting on the other side. They've not seen a single face. And now they just close things out. It put a chokehold on basically every other player in the lobby. They know this fight is not going to conclude for a while, so they can just focus over towards Prison. It's a very intelligent endgame coming through from Team Nemesis.
It's full control. It is full control. They've closed off Prison now with this one move. They've also closed off the tower and they've positioned themselves for a victory. They just need to take the one-to-one battles, need to take the head-to-head. That's the great Molly, comes off the backboard. It's one and done for them. So the 3 versus 3, not even a scratch on Team Nemesis. And they go from early 2 to 3 kills, and then they farm over now towards 11, looking for 2 more, as the rest of the team will now collapse across towards the southwest corner. And it's a standoff between No Tag Team, Construction Workers, and Team Nemesis, waiting, watching to see who can get the kills.
Yeah, a bit of an annoying one there for Team Nemesis, where... Oh, I mean, they'll give it to him. They'll give it to him. Okay, all right, that's nice of them. But 12 kills now for Team Nemesis on that game. But Construction Workers with a whopping 17-pointer on that match is just unbelievable stuff. Again, nail up. What a player. What a guy.
Yeah. Obviously, Construction Workers, unfortunately, for them, falling in 3rd place. So, Fex unable to med out. And Construction Workers set the stall up really early. They were happy to take the fights. They got gifted actually from a rotation in from no tags as they sort of played across. And from there, it was kind of the light that then sort of shined from the lumber yards, and they continued to get some kills. On the other side of things, though, we talk about Team Nemesis. Yes, they got the win, but it was kind of under the radar, sat on the outside edge of the zone. From the southeast, they worked their way in slowly, taking the fights where they could. But it wasn't until that mid to late game we really sort of see them engage to try and get as many kills. And they end up with like 11, 12 at the end, plus themselves a victory, a 22-point game. And that is a big GG's.
Yeah, it's good. Very, very good. I think they're equal points. I was about to say equal points to Construction Workers, despite the 5-kill difference. So 22 points each. No Tag will take 12 off the back of that. So it's a little bit closer than we might have initially thought off the back of that one. But very minimal points for everyone else inside the lobby other than PGG and Exhal. Go down to 4 points in 6th place. For No Tag Team, though, I was quite happy with that one. I think last week No Tag Team just made a few too many mistakes, in my opinion, where it couldn't really back the team too much. But here it looked a lot more controlled. I think that's the one thing I wanted to see from them. I liked some of the decision making they were making last week, but then it fell apart sometimes. This time it felt a little bit more under control all the way through to the end game.
Feel for that right hand side of the leaderboard though. Team Yol, 7 gaming, Redline, PMA and No Slack, all the way actually even up to Jogger Benito, low points. Obviously part and parcel because Construction Workers were farming so much on that sort of south side, and for Team Yol we go back to that kind of rotation. They were playing to the right area, but it was an area which you couldn't have 2 teams. Boars were looking to leave, they got turned back the way they came, and it was just ensured destruction for a period of time. We had so many teams looking into this position, they were never getting out there alive.
No, absolutely not. I think that the main thing we need to touch on here now, though, is that Team Nemesis and Construction Workers starting the day with 22 points each, by the way. Is this very hard now? It's very hard to catch them up. You know, if they keep playing the way like this, even just to suboptimal effect, like they get 10 points for the rest of the games today, they're ending on 62, which I don't think is very hard for either of these teams. And I think 62 is like a high finish for a lot of these weeks so far. And for teams like Team Yo, who we know is a strong team, would want to take one of these weeks to just qualify off the back of a win, it's very hard to catch them up. Very, very hard to catch them up. So yeah, this is tough.
It's all to do with that kind of that mid pack. We'll show you guys a bit later. But obviously, what we're looking for our top 19 teams from these qualifications from the cups, right? So overall leaderboard, etc. But actually, when we look into it a little bit more detail, it's actually the first to sixth place will go through, obviously, on the top section, whereas the others will kind of get split across sort of day 2, day 3. And for a team like Team Yo, they are a team in questionable day 2 territory. They want to be a team that's sort of up in that sort of top spot. And for them to do that, I'd argue to say 3 of those spots have already gone. So for them, there is an advantage that a Team Nemesis, a construction worker, does take the win today, because that shifts that leaderboard down towards them ever so closer. But they need to not have like 0-point games. They've only played 5 games a day. We've lost 1. And with the not the extra buffer, should we say, when it comes down to a 6-game lobby, they can't be forwarding to losers. So this time they're going to have to go a bit more aggressive. They're going to have to try and get as many kills as they can as quickly as they can.
Yeah, like you say, it's hard. It's hard at the start of the day when you end up with a goose egg. It means you have to push just so much further throughout the rest of the day. I think on a 5-game sprint like this as well, it's sometimes dependent on luck. And I think that you're right. I mean, Boars as well as Yo get very unlucky there. I think Redline also struggled a little bit in terms of where they were playing towards that end game. They just get caught out big style. For Jogo Bonito, it's not luck at all. What they're doing sometimes is just madness. But you know, it's madness towards maybe like 6 or 7 points a game. 7 or 8 points a game. I'm gonna say that. I hate that we got 7G gaming. We got 6-7 gaming. It's gonna really throw me off all day.
So that's what we're here for. Well, remember, you got to remember, Jogo Bonito said they are try-harding today. Okay, so they've got to get more than the 6 or 7 points. They've got to get themselves a win, because they should be contending with the top leaderboard. But that's one of our Erangels done. Now we go to the wildcard maps. Miramar be coming up after, and again, a game which does favour some of these teams that like to work and farm kills on the outside edge, because it's the terrain that will give it to them.
And yeah, for Miramar, yeah, you're right. A lot of kills available here, mainly because by the time you get to those strong positions, that's when you're likely to see a lot of other teams. On Erangel, it's much more likely you'll run into other players in that 5-minute mark. For Miramar, a little bit less likely until we get to like phase 2, phase 3. So I do think for Miramar here, this is a good opportunity towards that end game where there is still plenty of players to kind of mop up some of those points. So I do think for a lot of our teams towards the bottom of the leaderboard right now, the main goal should be getting through with 4 players to that phase 4, phase 5. Like that's the main goal. It's not to pop off at the start. It's just to get towards that point in the game where you can start absorbing some more points, getting some third parties going. You don't have to be the one to start things.
No. And let me ask you a question now. Do we expect that we're going to see one of these teams, Construction Workers, Jogo Bonito, or a Team Nemesis, to confirm today? I know we've only seen 1 game, and I'm putting you on the line a little bit, because that will change how these games play out. Because if they do get another game, they do run away with this one blank, the mindset I feel for the rest of the lobby will change up. They will be about trying to farm as many points to make sure they're better on the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, a bit like this. Oh. Not again.
Hopefully they don't come back next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this rate, it would be unwise for me to say no to your question. So yeah, I think I'd say that, you know, Construction Workers, Team Nemesis, I think they have a good chance. Let's just say a good chance of closing out. Now, I think starting off with a 22-pointer is really hard to follow. Especially 22-pointer on the two, I would say, best teams in the lobby right now. I think it would be remiss of me not to say that. So yeah, I think starting the day with 22 points is such a massive momentum boost for both of these squads. The only hope you could have here is that these two Lions just chomp at each other like at the early portion of the game. They bow out a little bit.
I just can't see it from the drop spots though. They spread apart most of the time, but we'll have to wait and see. Rotation will be critical, I think, coming into this one. Obviously, playing into the zone and the flight path, etc. The lobby is loaded. We are looking to get straight into this game as well, by the way, guys. Let's wait and see. I'm interested to see who takes it. I'm with you. My expectations are, especially with such a strong start from these teams. They both told me they're going to win, and both of them just delivered 22 points in the first game. So. They're holding me to their word, which is good. So I'm interested to see how we kind of play out these next 4 games. It is going to be critical, but there is still an opportunity for some of these other teams. If they want to go get the points, they just have to try and deny these teams getting in and not allow, because if you notice, PGG, they arguably salvaged that game. Sadik disengaged from that south hold, especially from where we saw from that lumberyard push. He was able to go get the bodies back. Yes, he kind of did go out towards the blue, but PGG ended up in a position where they gained some points compared to tabbing out early with nothing.
Yeah, again, it's like, do we get to the point where teams start targeting other squads? I mean, you have to almost target Team Nemesis, but it's hard to because they play so far on the edge. But then do you want to be the team to do that because you're also limiting your own chances of getting in towards the first place? It's really hard right now. I don't think anyone's going to make that sacrifice for anyone else in the lobby. So what we're working with right now is like you say, I'm going to go all the way back to the start of our conversation as we came out of that, Erangel, is that, teams have to start being much more aggressive, right? Yeah. For Miramar, maybe a little bit less at the start, but once you get towards that mid game, you got to start hunting. You have to start hunting. And if it goes badly, it goes badly. But you were never going to make it in the first place if that happens.
Well, we get the planes strapped in and checking their passports and through security for Miramar. Let's have a quick look at that leaderboard because this is what we are talking about. It is week 4 of week 5. And as I said, whoever finishes today, it's irrelevant of the points on this leaderboard. We could have someone all the way down the bottom or not even existing on this cup leaderboard because all the hard work, the blood, sweat and the tears for the last 3 weeks. But obviously, as me and Blank were talking about here, construction workers and Team Nemesis starting so well with 22 points. They are looking like they're going to be going through. And if they do go through, we'll take them off the leaderboard, kind of. It does mean we are going to shift down. Now, we're looking for the top 19 teams. And as I mentioned before, obviously for week 4 and week 5, the winners of week 4 and the winners of week 5 will go straight through. And actually, it comes into that sort of top half of that leaderboard. From 1st to 6th, they'll be playing on the playoffs day number 1. But for 7th down to 14th, we come into this bit of the leaderboard. So go next will be the cutoff for us. They will move into day 3. And obviously, from 15th down to 19th, we'll go in towards that final day. So actually, it's in the best interest for these teams to try and get to the very top of this leaderboard because that's going to give them extra chances, Blank, when it comes down to the players because the playoffs are tough. We're inviting the regional partner teams. They're getting involved. And obviously, they will then have to try and duke it out with them. And if they do get a good game, that means they get through. But if they don't, they've got a couple of extra chances.
The more chances you have, the better. As
always,
most everyone knows at this point in time. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit more scary when you put it like that. Where the cutoff for getting the most amount of chances is 76 points. I think that for obviously Viz isn't playing this week, even though they had a pretty strong performance last week. Ghetto Gang's not here. The Mythof's not here. Realistically, it is only Yo who's fighting out for that spot. But I think for Yo, for them today, if they can get 30, 40 points on the cards, that's great stuff. And maybe at this point in time, it's less about, we got to win here on week 4. As soon as you see that 0-point game on game 1, your brain has to go, now we just need 10 points per game. That's all we can do, and we have to qualify next week. I think it's hard to put all your cards on the table like that and lay them out so evenly, face up. But sometimes it has to be done.
Yeah, I don't think they got an option now. Look, unless they have an outstanding game number 2, I do think they have to look at this week 4 now, which you're right. It is hard to say because these guys are competitive players. They want to win everything, right?
And you're basically saying, we can't win.
Can't win today, but we've got to think about the playoffs. We've got to think about getting into that kind of top 6, and as we have an opportunity, because you're right, there are teams that are not here today because they've not been able to qualify. They've fallen short, yes, on Wednesday. They've fallen short on day number 2, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work out for them. So yes, it is a change of mindset. It's just a winning mindset, but it's a winning mindset with a longer end goal. But the longer end goal, everyone's through security. We've had to kick out a few players because they're being a bit cheeky, sneaking a few grenades in, but it is game number 2. Flight path though from this one is going to be coming in not as great. It's going to be coming in from that west down towards the southeast. Does favour a little bit half of the Miramar map, but there's a lot of terrain, there's a lot of compounds, and a lot up for grabs here for game number 2.
Yeah, it's a little bit far down towards the south side. It's not quite as bad as it could get. I think that most things can get over towards the northern edge and the southern edge quite easy. But yeah, I think it's a good point. I think it was put it like that to move forward. It's a case of it's a winning mindset. It's really hard because the whole time, especially if you're a coach or you're an IGL, the leader of the team, like the whole time you're trying to instill that kind of mindset in your players that like it's not over until it's over. But at this point in time, you're trying to tell your players like, well, it's kind of already over after game 1. And we have to readjust now. But you're right. Yeah, big old womp womp. But yeah, you just have to readjust. Like you said, it's a different kind of winning. It's a different kind of winning. We're investing right now.
Investing in the stocks, yes. There's going to be for PEC regional playoffs. But yeah, let's wait and see. Look, there is an outside that they go have an outstanding game number 2, and at that point, then we look at this and go, do you know what? They're still running to win it, but there's a lot more reliant factors here. We're down a game. That's the biggest one for me. Team Nemesis is still alive. Construction Workers are still alive. And while they remain alive in game number 2, that window of opportunity is ever going to close slightly. Zone comes a little bit later. No, we're not going to the island observers. No. It's not fair enough to cross to the east. How dare you try and tease chat into that?
I mean, that's good. I've had a couple of island finishes in my time.
They're horrific.
They are horrific. I had one. Get it
one
away!
One observer's refusing.
Get it away! Yeah, I had one final game, the final day of the tournament.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
And it was the decider, by the way. Like
really,
the 2 top teams, one of the Turkish squads, they lost out by 1 point because of an island finish.
Well, PUBG PC and PEC have a linked ability for the islands. It normally goes towards that top island. Look, I'm a caster, right? Islands equal chaos. Chaos equal fun to cast.
Yeah.
And we get to see carnage unfold. But I do like it because we just spoke about kind of a decision for a mindset with Team Yo. Actually, a lot of these lobbies, if it does go to the islands, it just completely, their mindset changes. At some point in the game, they're like, right, who's got the most amount of meds? We're definitely not getting across there. How many kills can we get? And that's where the carnage appears, because there will be a divide. Some people will get there, they'll be happy, they've got the boat, they've got the gliders, whatever it might be, or an emergency pickup. But there'll be a large number of people remaining on the mainland and going, yeah, I can't swim that. I need to get as many kills as I can.
Yeah, that's you have to do. You just gotta post up on the island and accept that the blue's going to bite you a little bit, but you're going to bite some of the teams a little bit harder. That's the other thing you got to do. But we'll wait and see. We've hammed it up a little bit now, so it'll be a bit disappointing if we don't go towards the islands.
No, get out of your head. It's not happening. Yeah, we are not going that way. No way.
I want to step back out of the island building. Carry on down the street.
Stop
BMA, high decky. That's a nice angle there. I don't know if he was throwing that at the camera, but it was cool.
Look good. Much as the sandstorm looks good as it leaves kind of the El Pozo area. As a lot of these teams actually on the west, no slack. PMA, we just saw Boars, PGG all in this location. PGG already started moving here. Intrigued that actually the furthest west teams are store looting. Maybe they're looking for that emergency pickup. There's an argument to say, actually, if they do find it, they can actually, depends on their timing, they can execute that. Yes, they'll be in the blue, but they will be in the air. And if it does go to the island, I know the observers are all there sitting there smiling, trying to think it's going to go there. If it does go there and they get their own way, some of these teams could be in the air and actually have a destination where they can land on the island well before anyone else.
You got to set it up. I mean, you got to have contingency plans as well. Right now, though, it's kind of clustered. towards the center of the circle, just to the western side of Impala. You got no tag here already. Construction workers 2. X-Howl are just on the edge. I think this team's quite antsy right now. My biggest complaint, I think players-wise, very good, but yeah, very antsy. I think that they need to potentially pull back on the gas a little bit. Not that it's not entertaining. It is.
Oh my god. PGG rolled through and they got Mixon as well. Bjorn now getting a couple of shots in Presenti, forcing him towards the other side of the road. Mixon is down. PGG sending it through, crashed up and actually making the most out of it as well. Forex, no helmet, peeking over the rock. And the only thing that peeks over the head first is going to be him. Limited amount of ammo. Oh my god, he's not even got a scope. That is horrific. And he's hitting the iron sights. One more horse. Louis gets into cover just in time.
I genuinely thought that was going to be a kill there. Some good shots. Flores very low. Still taking traces as well. That's the Mirado into position. I think he's done for. X-Howl, they do send it. But it's a good send amidst all the chaos, honestly. So I was a little bit further in towards that circle, waiting for the next shift to come through. For 6-7, they are on the south side. PMA is going to be very late.
Yes, glider barrels.
Oh my goodness me.
It's Top Gun. Still call him Top Gun. Maverick, get down there now. Come on, keep fighting.
Holy
got a
shots.
flush as well. Oh my god. No, I'm not touching that glider. Nope. There's more dangerous pilots in the air than me. I'm gonna get back to my compound as quick as I can. And so Sadid, the Red Baron of the skies of Miramar.
Yeah, that's nuts. That is actually nuts. Some seriously insane shots. Right nowhere. They could barely touch him. He's going at Mach 5 right now. Not quite, but for a dramatic effect.
I'll take it. Oh, it's good. I liked it. I could pick up the observer, so it's indeed taking full advantage, but also giving his team the advantage that if it does go that way, and Miramar would be good. I'm interested to see who will take the high ground out by Impala, though. I like to see the teams have sort of moved, especially for construction workers, towards that sort of west side, trying to wait for that zone shift. And Jogger Benito, no surprise for there. They're getting head-to-head battles. Redline, well, they get the better of them first. Blade comes it through. Nobody comes on the other side. Oh my god! Iris will put him down. Alpha will get Simon confirmed out. And then he picks up Iris as well. So actually, Redline getting caused by chaos. And Jogger Benito swapped towards the shotgun. James needs a big game. Now he gets the big knock as he gets one down. And Redline, well, they've redlined out of this lobby really quickly.
That is... Oh, never mind. I was going to say that's probably the best little fight we've seen from Yo so far. In a little while at least. Until he tried to take Michael's ankles out. But honestly, very, very nice. If Yo can take control of this, I'll be very, very happy to see it. I mean, Jogger Benito, not an easy team to take down, in my opinion.
No, Cristani can't. He's not going to push this. Surely not. I know it's Jogger Benito, but
he will.
There's a little bit of sense in him that tells him to run away. He's going to find a car and full send it in there. Jogger Benito way. If you ever go for tryouts for Jogger Benito, W key down, okay? Just make sure you keep cars the right way up. For bright side, unfortunately for him, it's not going to be the right way up. But teamwork will make the dream work.
Okay.
There was a little bit of a bumper. Put the car the right side up.
Quick, yeah, I'm not sure how that worked, but that's definitely happened before, right? He's had that issue multiple times. There's no way his teammate knows the exact lineup on the bumper.
Not again, Brightside. Last rotation income from Boars. Obviously, loss of the owners is going to be pretty clear now, so they do tease themselves closer towards that 5-stack pinnacle part of the cityscape. That will find a lot of information, especially coming in from this west side. So Steve keeping his glider alive as the Red Baron will take 2 minutes just to park up as he's going to scout for some more victims ahead of him. Yeah, I'd be intrigued if he can get that off of there, but we'll have to wait for his own shift.
I reckon he just turns it round, just lets it fall, and glides out of there. I mean, that works. He's gonna the runway is technically the fall.
Falling with style.
Falling with style, exactly.
All right, Buzz.
I think at the moment he's fine. He's fine. Just use the MK. Get the work done around him. Anyway, next circle shift, and it is not an island finish, guys.
Yes.
I am so sorry to tell you. But we are instead heading over towards some very deadly fields over on the western side of Impala. Pretty unfun area to play, in my opinion. But definitely fun to watch, to see these teams sweat out. So they pick up vehicles, insanely important now, especially in terms of being able to hold on to areas that you might not necessarily be able to by setting up some impromptu cover, but more so taking shots at those wheels. Slightly more open ground around here where you can find those wheels to take shots at.
Do you like this area? It is not great. I like Excel's 2-2 split. I love construction work. I moved here early. They've gone for a 2-2 split. 6-7 playing on that south side as well. So Fex, a little bit of a standoff at the moment. Would have heard the cars rolling in. As they will look to try and get that position. The building will provide them some high ground, but 6-7 maybe identifying that the car's there and seeing over the ridgeline. They now sort of disengage and go back towards the south. On the other side of things, though, we saw Team Nemesis goes rolling to Impala, but PGG. They look to try and keep their heads down as well. So most of the teams in the centre finding their position. It now comes down to the outside edge. Voptrox, one of the teams on the north side, they are very, very, very split up here. And no slack. If they identify this, they will take full advantage.
And for Blitz as well, he's not a terrible spot to play for no slack for at least the next circles to come, where they can figure out where they want to go next. They can even scout the building down towards the western side, pick those buildings up. But yeah, I think that they're not quite sure where the rest of Voptrox is at the moment. And they are rotating slightly out of sight lines of them. For no slack, it looks like they are going to miss out on that opportunity, sadly. Construction workers, though, you're right. It's a good spot on this 2-2 split, just depending where it goes down towards that south side. Team Nemesis, as well as PGG, invest heavily over towards Impala, just in case we get that eastern shift. This is one of those circles where it's gamble territory, right? You got to gamble on a spot of the map and just pick it up, right? There is a very, very big chance that construction workers win this game off this 2-2 split because they have more of the area to work with. But equally, this could go over towards Impala, in which case Nemesis have a great time.
Yeah, again, PGG added them in there as well because they instantly rotated. As soon as the zone shifted, they instantly rotated to this location. So, let's see. Oh!
C4 too.
That's like a treasure chest of, I don't know. Oh, well, it's not going anywhere now. So they're stuck here. But they've got the utility to make it effective. No slack. Opted not to take on to Voptrox, go more towards that sort of northeast. Obviously, the main issue they're going to have was Nemesis. But actually, Nemesis has come off the high ground. So Sadid has left the high ground. So I don't think he's in the glider anymore. But they've gotten their cars. They're looking for an early rotation. And it looks like they're going to try and catch this zone if it bounces back over towards that sort of west.
You can see a lot of people are in cars. And you're right. Team Nemesis getting themselves off that high ground as well. No slack in vehicles, waiting for the circle shift to come through and then make an instant send somewhere. It does go central, and goodness me, construction workers really
play.
Nice. Really well blessed. But yeah, for no slack, they are just sending it. The shots coming through from Hive, who have a 2-2 split too. And they're heading for that little ramp just to play under. It's a horrible spot to work with, but they've got nothing better.
Loads going on, loads of dirt. Oh, hello. There's interesting. There's a team killing happens. Oh my god, no slack. There is no slack on the brakes. As they run over one, it's down to Sata. He has to try and hold up here. Smoke will go back on the other side. Exhal will be reading the kill feed. It's the Mad gets the confirmation, and it is a headshot comes in. And no slack. They disembark themselves, and they will fall high. Find a position. Box cross go for the send of the cross though. How you got to remember they were on a 2-2 split. They had to go pick up because we lost the car, and they actually brought everyone back towards that. Well, classified as Xbox, but in that middle of the road. So nice hold for them. But I think there's more to come. Here it comes. Voptrox arrive, and the man has to throw the grenade and tuck tail.
It's the second fight that Exhales have to hold off against, but Flores taking no prisoners. Instantly sends over towards that top side. He's behind them. Bliss now in the front lines. Sadly, Flores will go down. That's the player from PGG. That's all the way on this four-man split. The outside edge of Impala. But Exile do hold their own. Down to one player. Question is how they want to play this one out. Hive instantly sends over towards 7G's position, just underneath. A whole lot of action going to be happening in this coming moments.
Yeah, Vorix down the road towards the north. He was up playing this kind of anchor play, but unable to get the kills, get the shots that he needed. And I think the call now for him is just to try and lay low. They're going to have a read on the numbers. They're going to know it's a two-person there. But there's nothing else he can do. He's just too far away. Other teams, though, surprisingly, that we didn't see Hive sort of crash in, or that third, fourth party. And again, back to that kind of pickup. Exhal, they had a massive 2-2 split blank, and they sent a body over because they lost that vehicle, the one with the C4 and one with the Panzers in. They lost that vehicle, and they had to go pick up their bodies, and the timing kind of worked out for them.
It's always nice to say. I mean, it might have gone better for Noslike if they didn't get knocked by... Literally, it felt like the car was rolling 2 miles an hour. It did knock one of their players. There's a lot going on in that moment as well, so you can't blame them too much for it. Hive can't quite get in towards the buildings on the northwest, so they're going to have to sit pretty for the time being.
Good location, though. Just depends on who's got a mortar. Because that area will be zeroed in. I think when someone realises that someone is there. The How actually not staying. They've actually split. Big shift. Goes down towards the southwest. That's a huge shift, actually. So construction workers, they've got the eyes on the prize as they've locked down their position. LCN with the recall after the death from above. The Red Baron has to now jump over the top of him and try and get towards the rest of his team. Has a little bit of time to loot. But for them, where do they go? Do they play into the sort of field? There's a dip in that sort of T-junction. Maybe they can go there. Do they try and challenge for a compound? This is going to be kind of who rotates at what time. Sometimes going early pays off. Sometimes going late is the better advantage.
I think for Balls especially, getting themselves down here as well as Yo, these are two positions that they just had to hold out hope for. I think for Yo, they're quite happy that the circle moves down towards this southwest side. That's so useful for them. Yeah, it's super unlikely that we're not heading back out towards the field here. In which case, construction workers just have so much room to play with on this position.
Now it comes down to how many kills they're going to get, though. That's the biggest thing. They need someone to challenge, and because there's so many teams on the outside, they're not going to send it full past most of the teams in the lobby to get to them. We're going to see teams play into the dip. We see no tags in one of them. LCN will be able to play on the other side. Grenades come out. It's more of a defensive hole for them. PGG looking to try and take on Exhal. Good play from them. Subila finds the Mad as he runs him down. Actually, for 7G, they get the cross ankle. So PGG now find a new home. And Vorix, though, down the road, he's in trouble. And PMA, well, they take full advantage of him. He's going to be down. Vopchok in the full 12th place.
Lack of Nostra. I mean, this is why you need vehicles, right? Hold a position like this. They get as far into the zone as they possibly can. Set up the vehicles from either side. You got a bit of a fortress to work with now.
You say fortress, I say death box. One grenade, that's going to be interesting. But they have found their way through. I think that's key. PGG taking advantage of Exhal. Now looking to try and take advantage and get a little bit of a restock. Especially with these field endings. Smokes are going to be key. Any shields, those cars, as you mentioned, they're going to be critical as well. Oh, there we go. Looking to try and zero in. The Boom moving his mortar back, maybe. As he realises he's maybe a little bit too close.
I don't really know how Tino is getting up here. The nade's going to be absolutely nasty. Completely exposes Melman. They know they need help with the M249. Sprays in, but... Melman!
Oh my God, Blank! Oh my... Melman! What have you done?
I think it's fair. It was all going wrong. Slade and Sosa had to send it at that point in time to try and keep their buddies alive. By that point, Melman already sent the nade. Whew. Rough stuff. In the meantime, construction workers, they are putting up points.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah, 6-7. I'm going to try and zero in. I've got a lot of opportunities now for, I suppose, targets. Unfortunately, some of these targets are not taking, I suppose, direct fire, so they're able to dance the dance. Actually, more fire coming in from the adjacent side here. 7G has to try and play in from that sort of north side as Hive laid the trap there. There's one, there is two. They're looking to try and get those confirmations. LCM will try and hold things out in 7G before we can fly there. They fly out to the lobby. 9th place for them. We're going to start working our way now into the top 8. PGG yet again got to get moving. Hive yet again. They also have to get moving as the zone shifts one more time down towards that south side. But actually, do you know what? That's going to help out, because a team like construction workers, if they found themselves in the middle of the zone again and again and again, they just won't be happy with that, because they're not going to be able to drive those kills. They've gone from 1 kill, now they've gone to 5, as they're happy to try and farm anything as it comes around that north side. PGG don't want any of it as they sort of rotate their way around. They have to try and figure out where they're going to play into. Did they play to that south side? No tags haven't moved either. Hive, they stop short. They stop on the hillside because they pick up Yo. And they're now on the outside edge themselves. There's no tags. Realizing that they've got to get shifting. They try the opportunity now just to move a little bit closer. They have to go aggressive here. 6-7 though. They weren't expecting this one. There's the first one. Rafa finds 1 though, but Taboom will put 2. Cut that 3. And no tags full blank.
PGG in the meantime look to move in, close the door, but the door's knocked off the hinges. Construction workers looking inwards. The Panzerfaust, I think he just caught a glimpse of it before it was his demise. Icy though. Gonna hold things down. Again, it's a massive amount of space they have to hold on to. Construction workers done a good job so far to be on a swivel. Down to 3 at the moment, with 1 player still waiting to be picked back up.
She's trying to hold. PGG obviously driving down the road. They took the opportunity to start to play in. Nice use of the blue zone there. I think it'd be just on the outside. Ainsley just to move out, use the smokes as he plays peekaboo. It's another smoke, just give him the cover. I can hear the car looking for the opportunity now. Run the shot start. We'll get the car. The car's gone, but the car is not needed. Ainsley though, with the scar in hand, will get another point. They've gone from 1, they're now on 7.
I think for PGG there, it's a little bit slow from them. Hive will go down. Again, blue zone grenades in those under those little tarps is just a nightmare. But Yo, this is a good game. I mean, it's the first time we've seen them maybe up into a top 5 potentially. We still have 6 teams still remaining. Yeah, I think for PGG, they had to go a little bit faster. I think construction workers were absolutely disorientated after that Panzerfaust. They were running around. Where do I go?
It smells like I can't move. I'm on fire! Gives a grenade up the top. Know exactly where they are. Well, been dodging the flames for a little while, looking to try and get the damage. The car's not trying to help out. And another molly will come out. So Fex extinguishing the flames. They now have to try and deal with the sneaky devil that is going to be PGG above them.
Oh, it's a good double nade as well. Trying to assume contact for the stairs dash, as well as clearing out the upstairs floor. Sadly, you need like 4 grenades to this area, simultaneously thrown against a smart player like Presenti. It's tough though. It's tough to get him out. Eventually, he will go down. That's for sure. It's just how much time is he going to waste for him?
It's a push.
Oh, nasty.
Oh, with the jump shot. Anyway, Presenti will now fall. PGG, you're right though. There's a timing. They've rotated the way around. I don't think the plan was to crash in there. For me, it felt like an afterthought. And when it's an afterthought against construction workers, well, it's your last thought that you're going to have, as they will now fall. Here's a double. And this is a well camouflaged ghillie suit. Have they even seen him?
I don't think so. I do not think so. I think he's chilling.
Become one with the bush. Mansa will try and hold out. As
got the perfect weapon for it.
Opposite. Yeah, come close. You're gonna get stabbed. Yo, make the push though towards construction workers. They get turned back the other way. Nice sort of bowl that they kind of sit in. Does sort of open trend, but it's not quite. So they'll be okay. They'll be happy. They'll be able to take shots back and forward towards construction workers. It'll be interesting to see what happens more on the south side, though, because 6-7 stuck multiple times. They've come out swinging both times. Mansa, who is laying low, actually does catch himself a knock for now. As he gets close enough, he does tie back up with the team.
It's a tough one for Yoda. I can kind of see the indecision that's happening in real time, where James pushes up because they get a couple of knocks, and it's like, do we want to push construction workers here? They're still in the compound. Do we just play back? They're going to have to leave this building at some point, in which case multiple teams are going to be looking towards them. And I think that the call is made where Cappy immediately recenters with the team, but James is already a little bit too far forward. So it's not exactly his fault. I mean, I think it's fair enough that they want to go for that.
He took a tumble. Mance is looking to try and make the move, as he now knows where the tumbles happen, but numbers are down 6-7. One of them is remained 6 kills here from Team EMEA. They needed a salvation game after game number 1. This might be putting them back into the talking point to get them up the leaderboard, though. Grenade goes in, but for Michael, it's just too short, and the vest, it says goodnight, as that is being held together with strings and fibre.
No, respect that Michael went in, just absolutely battered one of the boss players up against that tractor. Squished him flat. Towards Shamwi. Takes a bit of a nade. Construction workers looking for another big game here. Nice nade from Michael over towards Mansa. Looks for a second at least. It's well placed, actually. Very well done.
NBA Michael off the backboard.
Yeah.
Goes for the 3-point. As he went out, well, actually not 3 points, he finds 2, let's be honest. But he does get the additional, so yes, he does actually get 3 points, Mark, because he knocks out a team. What are you talking about? It goes out to 3 teams, though. It's a 4 versus 2 versus 2, as Vex is lurking like a shark in the middle of the field. He will wrap his way around the blue, and he's going to cause damage towards PWD.
He is fast, this lad. Straight over. 10 kills so far for construction workers. They finish out this game with 14 points, another 24-point game, sitting up on 46
Insane.
After this one, which would be crazy after game 2. It's so well set up. It's like, what can you do?
Oh my god, the Welsh Dragon strikes again. And now the next victim for the construction workers. They set those clear foundations of looking to get more kills than anyone else. 8 kills though for Team Yo. Good salvation for them. Blue zone where it bounces in. Michael has to bounce out. Nailip will find one. He looks for the exit. It's one and done. Construction workers though. It's another victory. It's 23 points, and we speak about a winner. Who is going to rise? The Phoenix from the ashes. Well, it's going to be those construction workers though. What a second game.
Yeah, very well done. Really, really good stuff. Again, it's a good 2-2 split. You are, again, gambling at this point in time on where it's going to go. But I think they had 2 very good positions on the map to play around with, and then they close it out strong. I think PGG definitely threw them for a little bit of a loop. I think that if PGG kind of full committed to that push, maybe things would be slightly more different. But what I will say is that, you know, although Yo didn't get the win, they did exactly what we wanted them to do, which is to get in towards the later portion of the game. And I think if they got 8 or 10 points, I'm extremely pleased with how that went down. I think it looked a lot better, and the decision making looked a lot cleaner towards the end game too. I think for Michael, he played very well in this game, dude.
Yeah, possible, man. Again, those additional points. But look, that is an answer to the statement we came out with from game number 1. Yo had to deliver a game, and 13 points, I would argue that is part of a salvation to have a good consistency level number of points across 5 games. Yeah. Now, they need to go back and do it again, and that's where they kind of now need to start stretching those points per game for them, and put them into that kind of topic of conversation. There is still a lot to be gained when it comes down to the construction workers, as we say. They've been building the future, and the future looks like a ticket towards PEC regionals.
Yeah, absolutely does. I mean, the scaffolding might even be able to come off real soon at the end of today. It'll be a finished product by the time we get there. If they're able to continue like this, 45 points. Not quite able to get that final kill on the game there, but still, what an insane match from them. 45 points, nothing to scoff at. After 2 games, we are hitting a 22.5 average. Unheard of. See if they can keep it up. Highly doubt it, though.
I've done our use. We said that once before with construction workers, and it continues to unfold. Let's have a look, though. Actually, what does it mean when it comes down to the cup leaderboard? Because it does always continue to become more and more relevant, though. First team in 200 points, 209 points for the construction workers, 122 kills as they will farm the lobby. Team Nemesis, though, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, as they continue to sit in second place, chasing down those leaders. Benito, that kind of 1-2-3 for me is kind of set, and as I said before in the last break, first to 6, that's what we're kind of looking for to qualify through to top days. So if you can't get a first place week 4 or a first place in week number 5, it's down to that kind of 6th place. And look at that, Exhal now leapfrogging ahead because this is not here.
Yeah, again, for Exhal, they're not doing too badly. No Slack isn't either. I just, with that last game in terms of placement points, it does make Yo's point scoring look a lot more healthy. 19 points to 38 kills. Look, it's a decent place to set yourself up. I think having half the placement points as you have kills is totally fine. But yeah, any lower than that on placement points just starts to get a little bit worrying, and that's where No Slack and Benito definitely starting to struggle with slightly. But yeah, I think for Yo, again, it's still hard to get up towards that top 6. I think Exhal is still a great team, and we can't count them out. No Slack as well. Fantastic.
Teams obviously are missing. Like PBRU, they fell short. Interesting, obviously, they're going to fall down that leaderboard. Voptrox obviously is here, so they should sort of be moving. So there's no one really to take over. Aurora Gaming had a better week coming through, but 6-7, 17 points at the moment. A good couple of games, actually. Do you know what? They might even start challenging into that sort of realms of Exhals, or no, the Exhals, sorry, Voptrox, and pushing their sort of leaderboard up. So maybe we see some people drop into or below the line, should we say. PMA, a lot to gain, same as 7G, but that's the first time making it into the cup leaderboards.
I'm an absolute fool, aren't I? Really, because for us, it's more and more looking likely to be the top 7 getting through.
Well, yeah, especially if construction workers keep at what they're doing now, right? Construction workers go, then we obviously would take from 2nd to 7th going through. Or you kind of scrub off construction workers, right? And then Team Nemesis becomes first place. Depends on how you want to kind of slice the cake, so to speak. But yeah, fundamentally, and that's what was always interesting me about this week, is doing the first week. Do we see a top team going, or do we see a wild card? Either one of those that happen, Bank, is a different story that unfolds. Yeah,
so again, then it's sort of down to week 5 for Team Nemesis to step up there and get themselves the win and send it a little bit further down. But yeah, I think
I was going to say the other thing, mate. I was going to say, sorry, is that it kind of is not irrelevant, because Team Nemesis do want to get wins, so does construction workers, because they want to get the golden ticket and go through, right? But it's less impactful for those teams. They're at 200 points. They're on 100 points. They're in that top 6 anyway. They're going to the same stage. They're going to the first stage of the playoffs. Well, actually, if we saw like the likes of a Voptrox maybe get a golden ticket lower down the leaderboard, yes, they might qualify because they're in the top 19, right? But actually, they qualified 2 days before than they would do. So it's interesting that if the top teams do take it, it actually plays into the advantage of those teams, as you say, in those sort of mid-pack, because that line will continue to drop down.
Yeah, again, I think there's a couple of teams that I'd like to see get that wild card. I mean, Voptrox would be a terrible one. I think Starry Sky had a lot of potential. I mean, now that Cappy's gone, it's a little bit tough. I think Cappy was doing a lot of heavy lifting for them. But yeah, it could be a very, very curious final week. Sort of up to construction workers and Team Nemesis to see how hard they try in those weeks to allow someone to get in. But yeah, I think I'm most looking at like that 7th and 8th position now of how that can really change. Because right now we've got Ghetto Gang as well as this, and both those teams have had their special moments here and there. But it's a question, because there is a couple of teams underneath them are only behind by like 20 points, and Yo's already catching up today.
And this is what I don't want to wish days away, right? Mum's always told me off for that. But this is what I'd be excited for, because if let's say construction workers go through, we go down, and Vis is on the cutoff line, what happens if Vis don't make it next week? They've got to go through qualifications. They've got to sign up for the Monday. They've got to work their way through. And if you haven't already, make sure you can sign up, because you have a chance to get in and get involved. And if you have a good final week and win, no points in the good, you can get through and win, and yes, go straight through to the playoffs. But for Vis, there's so much additional pressure now for them, because they have to qualify next week, because otherwise there's a difference between them qualifying for the second day or the first day, and you want to be putting in a driving seat because you want to try and get through to that first day.
Yeah, and again, I think for this, they're very they play into the late portions of the matches. If they don't get there, a lot of times we don't see them do too much. I think that their late game finishes, even when they're playing on a low count of players, is very good. You know, they do make up for the fact they're on low players. There's some creative gameplay, but the first step, like you say, is to qualify. If that doesn't happen, then I'm sure that other teams would love to get ahead of them, and given the time, they will. So, and I think that the team, and I bring them up a lot right now, but it is important on the terms of the leaderboard, is they qualify again next week, and they just keep getting these 13 points throughout the rest of the day. They're looking in a really good spot to go through.
Yeah. Especially if you're taking 3 of those teams out, irrelevant if they get a golden ticket or not, right? Because we're looking for those top 6. Yo are going to be sort of cementing themselves. And then next week, maybe, depends on how Yo finish out today, maybe we're not looking for 3 teams. Maybe we're looking for 2 teams. Maybe at the end of the day, we're only looking for 1 team to finalize off that kind of top 6 or top 7, etc. bracket. So lots playing. There's lots of moving parts, though, obviously, and we'll keep you updated as we go along. But I suppose the most important thing is that you go get signed up, because you've only got 1 more week left to go for the PEC Spring Cups, because it'll be week number 5 next week, and then obviously we'll be going straight through to those sort of regional playoffs.
Which will be very fun, very fun. Now we won't have to spread these game days out so much either. We'll be able to actually sit down and watch ourselves some good PUBG over multiple days. Right now, I'm sort of itching for the next cast. I was talking to Mark about this beforehand. I'm in waiting mode in between PUBG right now. But yeah, very, very excited to see that one unfold. But like you say, we still have 2 more weeks. And, well, this is one of them right now. We'll see who ends up on top. I think that it's looking likely it's going to be construction workers. I don't think they're going to drop the ball at this point.
No. Wait and see. Might be a wrecking ball. Might go full send, but we'll see in this one. Let's talk about some of those other teams, though. Obviously, in that second game, I want to go back to that PGG, because I felt like it was a second guess crash for me. They were playing on that sort of east side. The zone shifted. Construction workers were on the outside. They had the road down that they were kind of maybe coming ahead of No Tag's team. But for some reason, they kind of dropped the anchor and turned the cars around and went for the crash. Maybe that was the plan. Maybe they wanted to come on the south side of the crash. But whatever it was very delayed. And I think as a result, they got riddled out pretty quickly by construction workers.
Yeah, I think that when we looked at that, and I was looking at that after the Panzerfaust knock, I was quite happy with the push. I know they were low, they had a lower player count at that point in time, but it really did send the guys on construction workers packing. And I mean, after that, they were in such disarray that Yo was able to find 2 knocks almost off the bat right there. So I do think with PGG just was like, we've got to go. Even if we just get in this building, we hold this building, and they try and hold us out afterwards, this is better than sticking out here in the fields. It's always the case, and we keep speaking about it, we keep talking about it, keep discussing it. It's just confidence. It's confidence at the end of the day for a lot of these squads playing in the PEC Cups. And it will improve. It'll improve over time. And we'll see some of these teams come through for the next Cups, later in the year or even next year. We'll see these teams again. And hopefully by then, they'll have puffed out the chest a bit more. They'll be swaggering a bit. You never know.
I'm just surprised because PGG have that puffed up checks most of the time. It's just this last stage that they just seem to go, oh my god, it's the top 16 teams and we've got to play completely different. And it's not their game style. But it's interesting. Anyway, enough of that waffling. It's time to Tago. It is going to be match number 3 as we're coming in from the flight path. It is an east, southeast, up towards the northwest. Again, it does favour one of the sides of the map. It is a smaller map, so most of these teams will be able to extend out and find their lovely location they want to loot from.
Pop Trucks, their lovely location is right on the south side of the map, apparently.
That's a German style. That is a German style. I know it's not full German team, right? But I'm going to classify it because they have the German flag banner for them. Because they used to be full German team. German teams like to find one corner of the map and then work their way in. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is that way. But they will go for a corner and then they will work their way in logically, methodically, and trying to find every kill. They tend to be outside edge teams. It doesn't always work out for them. But I did especially game number 1. I like what I saw from Voptrox. I like that sort of play from Prison. I like they stretched out. I like they're aggressing onto teams as well. They just need to get that kind of more kills on the board. But maybe they're looking at this one blank as it's not just about today for them. Maybe it's looking for this week and next week because they're trying to drive that leaderboard.
I got to find that right angle, dude. It's the German way, Yeah. Keep it sensible, keep it right. But I think for Lack and Nostra just ahead of them.
Oh my days.
Again?
What is that?
Again?
I'd argue that's even worse than last week. At least we had a little bit of the islands on last week, but this time it's full send out towards the east.
This is crazy. Yeah. Almost going to have to find one of the right angles on the fields, I suppose, at this point in time, and hunker down there. Is it? How do we keep getting these? Can we see somewhere else?
No, it's a you thing, mate. Since you've arrived, DBS has become a thing.
I know.
Now we're getting these crazy zones that are unplayable because you just want everyone fighting straight off the rip. Because a lot of teams are going to have to. They're going to look at this zone and go, we haven't got really much place to live, so let's get as many kills as we can.
Why do you think Juggle Benito's my favourite team? I'm not afraid to say it.
I can't argue. I cannot argue it. Well, with the zone, though, very much on that east side, like these teams are going to have to rotate their way in. There are some teams that are in, and Construction Workers is just about on that inside air track. 7G, we have to try and look at this one. The only thing that I would also factor, apart from the obvious, that is out on that east side, and thank you very much, Reservists, just about to talk about, the river. The river that comes down, we normally see it played towards the bigger river, but this time as well, especially the one by Construction Workers, that river that's sort of drying up towards that bank, it does like to attract the zone. So we are going to expect a heavy east shift. Yes, Mark, it is obvious because there's a lot of unplayable. I get that, guys. But also we are going to see that kind of where Construction Workers are at the moment. We're expecting to see that. Now, whoever claims the high ground around there is quite difficult to defend off. But teams can transition, so it's not like they're bottlenecked in blank to certain bridges, etc. There's a load of area that they can drive across here, so yeah, I think we'll see more teams maybe go for 2-2 splits and try and hold out and try and catch teams out in early rotations.
Yeah, it's a weird one as well playing on this map because there's plenty of areas that you can rotate through to sort of backfill, I'll say, where you can cut off a lot of sight lines because of those ridges you were talking about down towards the rivers, down towards the fields. So even though it's quite flat over on that side of the map, so to speak, there is plenty of areas where there is still these ridges in play, little slopes here and there. You got to be constantly watching your six. It's not fun.
Well, it's about watching your six now. These teams start to rotate their way in. Eyes will be on the prize. Some will go for a little bit of a wider rotation. Jogger Benito, no surprise, straight into the action now. Simon, just as the kind of one of the entry points, a lot of the teams will be sort of pathing their way through. Well, he set up a little trap.
Let's see if any of the team tries to pull their maneuver. But instantly spotted. Doesn't get away with that one. A lot of teams nowhere near this either. There's plenty of teams over towards the very western side of the map because the playing path did allow for it. Got PMA over towards the northwest side. PGG's also over there. Team Nemesis far west of Fishing Camp in Hapo. There's a long, long way out for some of these teams to make their way in.
Oh. At least it's not supposed to do this time. Yeah, going on that sort of south side. He's going to take the scenic route as he'll be looking at the eyes ahead of him, keeping the team on a straight and narrow path. It does have to be a little bit of a straight and narrow path because LCN is here as well. So the ridgeline does provide cover for the cars, and obviously with the TPP angles, they're able to look up over the top as well. So if they can spot those cars, they spot the opportunity. But failing that, Bjorn should be finding everything else. And he does find not just one, but two. He finds some shots through the window as well. GG's. He's got to keep going, though, because he has to keep his mixing at least safe. He's a lot further towards the north.
He's playing with fire a little bit. Vex, though, looks over towards X-Howl, who got a patient in the back seat, hoping to extract him as fast as possible. Good shots backwards towards him. Nade as well, pretty effective in terms of disorientation at least.
It's difficult though for X-Howl. They've just come into that sort of top of half the leaderboard. Now they're getting pushed not just by 1, but 2, 6, 7, and construction workers coming. Odin has to try and dodge the dodge, but he's got a shotgun that he can provide a little bit of a bite if they do charge in. Nitro launches a molly in one, a grenade is going to come in the other, and it's going to deny the opportunity to at least use the shotgun.
Oh, I mean, Odin Mavasi just took about a whole team's worth of utility to clear him out, but Flores will go down too. But you're right, for X-Howl, this is disastrous news for them. Taking a lot of damage early. Haven't got a single kill point in this game either. And that just opens things up for teams underneath them to catch up. And again, there is no guarantee that X-Howl is going to make it into next week either. It's a struggle. You really can't be letting up games at this point in time, especially when there's only 2 more matches after this.
I think the big thing will come onto the additional pressure that these teams might not have factored in. Oh, can't park there, mate. That actually qualifying for next week is going to be critical for these teams. Critical, because some of them will be in a position that they are qualifying. Some of them will be in a position where they're qualifying comfortably, and others will be looking at actually who else is qualifying around me, because if there's teams below me that are qualifying in, they have to find a way to ensure they get the points.
People will be fighting very hard as well on that Wednesday. I think it's important to talk about too, because you know, when you get to that final week, final day of qualification, teams do play differently. And you might think to yourself, this guy is so lucky, it's unbelievable. But you might think to yourself, well, every team's going to be playing as hard as they can every single week. But when you know that it's either now or never, it does spark something inside you. So I think it's going to be a tough qualification week on Wednesday, come around to it. And the teams will be playing out of their minds to make it in and try and hold on to their position.
It's not just for PEC. This is them and their opportunity to climb that kind of pyramid leaderboard scheme where PUBG laid the foundations, where people can get involved and from a kind of community level, and then that kind of grinds up the pyramid. You know, the pyramid they got from the not the selling pyramid scheme, but the pyramid scheme they got from the graphic. Yeah, don't try and throw me under the bus, because it is a pyramid, right? The top of the pyramid though is PGC, and then we've got PGS right underneath there. But everyone else has to work their way up, brick by brick, going through the scrims, the cups, the regionals, and then we've got to ass splash in bloody EWC. So get on your bike, Blank. Get out of here. I know what I looked at. It was a pyramid.
It's just where it says the PUBG pyramid scheme.
It is. Not seeing it, it's graphic. I'm going to show you after.
It broke me. No, I understand. I believe you.
Fastest mothers wouldn't know, mate.
But yeah, we're back on board. PGG trying to scheme their way back into the circle. It's not working so well right now, with Boars ahead of them, blocking them on their approach across the bridge. And why not? More space for you on the north side of the circle, at least. A lot of bikes. We're seeing a lot of bikes here. Need for speed at the moment.
That's the way to sometimes get crossed with that need for speed, is with a name with Nitro as well. It kind of plays into that one. Doesn't help though. Oh, it's not just the shots coming through. It seems to be Panzers also following suit. The zone shifts yet again. It goes heavy east. So it just about holds on to the dried up riverbanks. But it definitely holds on to the red line. The red line of doom. 14 teams remain, 53 players, and arguably a huge chunk of that zone is unplayable.
I mean, you're totally on the money saying it's going to move up towards the east, get pulled in by that water. But what a nasty circle this one is. A lot less space to play. And you might think it'd be a good idea to squish yourself into airport, right? But we saw from last week, we had a lot of urban area, finishes that didn't actually finish up there. They shifted out towards the side, moved back into open ground. So this feels like another honey trap again in airport. People don't really want to head over just there, and they'd rather play in the fields, which I don't think many players would say to you.
I think they've got the air option now. I think it's a full send moment for the guys and some of these teams, like we are seeing. Team Yo, they are repositioning where they can. They're going to try and get towards that sort of red line, and it is going to be a red line for some of these teams, because when teams are positioned up here, they can't rotate anymore, and it's going to come down to kind of who is there first. And for Team Yo, they divide and conquer a little bit. For Team Nemesis, they go for more eyes in the sky. Lucky enough for this time, for the rest of the lobby, they can't shoot back, as they're going to get a lot of information from this one. And again, look at this, because Takeover is all about these rice fields. So many of these teams trying to take the hard cover where they can. They just can't commit to those sort of fields out from the west of airport.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I swear these guys got console commands, dude. So every time they need to get towards an urban finish, they have an E pickup. It might just be the case that they always hang on to one, and the only time they end up using it is when it's necessary. And I don't get it. But they do get 2 players in. I like the way they're playing this out. Good scouting from the sky as well. It's a lot harder than it looks.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, I barely see anything. I
get distracted by the helicopter. Woo,
yeah. I mean, playing a game with a couple of friends, and they're saying to me, "Hey, that compound's fitting." I'm like, "Have you got the eyes of an eagle? Like, how have you seen that man's head through a window?" So yeah, it is impressive. It's impressive. I know it's a small thing, but for Team Nemesis getting a player in here, like I said before, again, this does lead back towards older points where we're saying that there's plenty of ridges and areas where you can cut sight lines. Team Nemesis that have an anchor point, I don't think it's actually that difficult for them to get their other players into position there.
I also think that one of them's got to be RDM, as they didn't all take the American. There's a reason why. 6-7. Fine Slavin, he will go down. I think he gets the knock onto Mixon and also the confirm on towards Blist. One Eye King might be keeping one eye on the prize. Find better cover. Oh, the drive-by comes swinging in. Whoa. Who else but it's Jogoinito? He gets 2.
Whoa. Well played. One Eye King, but one eye on the lookout for 2 kills on the backup, and 6-7 does pull away with all of them onto Jogo Benito. Well done to One Eye King there. Circle moves over towards the north, and PGG, what a steal on the circle this is.
He has to have a BRDM.
It's console commands, dude. They've got a second one.
No, they've got a BRDM. I guarantee it. Like, my logic is, Deed is so far in the south, he definitely has a BRDM. He must have a BRDM.
It's a second E pickup, though.
Because they needed more scouting information. And now he knows he's figuring out exactly where the rest of the guys are.
I barely find 1 in my games. How do you guys got 2? I don't understand. It's such a freebie. I think you're totally right, though. I think the BRDM is a good call. There you go. Thank you, observers.
I know they have fun outside in the blue sometimes, but there is no rhyme or reason that he's just driving around in the blue, hunting people down. He knows people are heading towards the recall.
Oh, he's naughty. He's proper naughty.
He's going to refuel it.
Yeah, I will say today, observers have been pretty goated. I'm not going to lie.
They are capturing everything. Oh, there's another one. Where is that? Hello, Sampa. Lurking out in the fields. That's a dangerous location in the south. He's getting so much information. He's in protection while he does it as well. No need to move just yet. Let's see. We'll get an idea that Satter's there. I think he's going to try and take the opportunity to, dish out a couple of blows. What I do worry about is if he gets knocked. And they realise that BRDM is there.
I've had quite a few BRDM steals over the weeks we've been watching. Oh, was that his own grenade? I think so. He came from 7G.
There's a blue zone. That's going to bounce. They're rubbery. Bjorn's going to have to try and back off here. Fix working his way, and he might take on the firepower. The P90 on the other side. It's only a single.
He's just going to accept it, yeah.
It's only a single. Doesn't need to worry. If you hear that second then yeah, you've got to get shifting.
He's finally making his way into the circle, by the way.
Get the full refuel.
Yeah, the full tanker on it. Honestly, BRDMs are elite in this final zone, especially head over towards the fields.
Yeah, they've got the weight to them. They do sort of dance across the rice fields. They're not going to kind of go sky high like we see a lot of the time. I think it'll take a lot of damage coming through, and I won't be too surprised. And that teams actually might try and take a bite to try and stop it. I also think, on the other hand, actually, they might be involved in so much more action, actually. Just let it go. Dunk! Let it go by. That's a bit of paintwork there. He's got a long migration. It's the best card to have.
He's been playing a completely different game to all of his teammates. Hard circle towards the north side, right? It's a hard shift over towards there. Does pull up towards airport, but looks further towards all those loot crates that just drop down along the fields. Construction workers want to get a move on, but I'm getting some flashbacks, honestly, here, Mark. What we've seen in the past between this location. Yo and construction workers, but say construction workers are the aggressor this time.
So, shifts all the way back towards the northeast again. Airport is holding in. So, Team Nemesis has so much control now. They sort of committed to that higher side with a double emergency pickup. They're going to be happy. Everyone's sort of consolidating now on the south side. They would naturally go for the urban style ending, as they will feel safety maybe within the airport. But that's going to be a pretty horrific battle. Exhale can climb the leaderboard, but they'll step out here. 13th place for them. As they will say goodnight at BRDM. Oh, it gets moving. That's another one.
Just the 1 point. It's doesn't feel great.
No.
And Yo made a decision there just to leave James. I mean, that's the second time it's happened as well. And respect to them, I think there's a lot of times where James is the scout. I don't necessarily think this is his fault either, where the team has played way too long around him being knocked. And I think at this point in time, it's some good humility from the team as well to be like, James is down. He's done his job, though. He's scouted. Not a good place for us to be. So let's just leave him, and we'll try and find somewhere else in the circle. Fortunately, they have ran directly into no-tag.
Yeah, you look at this and go, oh, it's safe. I can get into hard cover. But then having to move is difficult. No tag. Lucky enough for them, they kind of set up in multiple positions. And for Team Yo, they centralized up into the firepower. So no tags. Found a couple of kills. PWD will fall. And now they hold that sort of south to southeast corner. 7G needs to come in. They're holding a little bit of the edge. And we've already seen, and we get to see now, construction workers, they're going to have to get the shift in. I think they might have left it a little bit too late to get moving. Going for Voptrox, so the final player for them. He's laying low. He's moved from his position, but he might move straight into the rotation path of construction workers.
7G. I think he's got the links and the P90. This guy is absolutely bloody stacked. He is rocking and rolling in this game. Chipless looking for some of the other players here from construction workers. So said we'll find Daboom.
It's difficult play. That's that BRDM, as I say. It doesn't really go sky high when it gets sent through the field, so it's dangerous. Hello, Sampire. Doing enough just to kind of force 6-7 out of the hiding spots. Ourselves will follow that up. A good spot on the mortifier that is coming in from PGG. And Salik in the west side will send the barrage. The zone shifts again back towards the north. We are losing airport now, and everyone has to kind of work their way through. Team Nemesis, arguably one of two teams that have the hard cover now. LCN, the only other one, but they've got teams like Hive, No Slack, No Tag Team, 7G, all got to try and find a way in the south side.
Yeah, this is a classic Team Nemesis game, in my opinion. Easy win for them. No doubt in my mind. We're playing hot potato with the chicken dinner right now. Passing it between two squads. Good shots from Naleb, though. Great spray transfer as well. Over the second, and the blue will do the rest.
Who does the rest? Rafa gets a quick kill confirm as well. That's a reposition here. 7G looking to try and take on the fight with him. Naleb, though, going to try and make his way out. Sees an opportunity to get rid of one more, but I think that's one and done for him. The blue should conquer. Wars on the other side, though, will be there, but single-handedly kind of dispatch 7G. There's no getting back from them. And Vopdrox also found 9th place. So we're now into the placement points. 8 teams remain. It is phase number 5, and the numbers will start to fall quick.
You see that Zabilla actually got a Panzerfaust kill over towards Halo Senpai. So I think that is the BRDM.
Yeah, 100%.
That's good for PGG. Great for PGG, in fact.
Yeah, now collapsing in. The south side of that, though. Always looking to try and take on the PGG. That family. It stings when you get hit with that. Quick confirm for them. Always try and dig deep. Looks confirmed out. Hicks. Looks at there. Grenades over the top. That all bounced nicely. Oh, just goes into the rice field, and Sloyd Jackie dodges one of the bullets. As they set the defensive line, Noslak will fall. Boars will take over this position. And arguably a little bit of a breathing room now before the likes of Hive get the opportunity to draw their attention, as they have to continue to focus south because no tag in the distance. They look to try and tag themselves in.
Yeah, it's so hard to nade them out on that little slope there because you get so many bounces, and your only real answer to that is an airburst, which from the back of these little warehouses is really hard to make happen. Good for the guys. Slight hand there from Dante. He back round the side. Pulls a little magic trick on him.
Yeah, coming from the blue. Footsteps. I have to focus here. 7G losing bodies out on that zone. So for O'Connell, kind of next. He's got the information. At least he knows someone's behind him now. But he has to try and piece together. Oh my god, not just a puzzle, but the grenade was perfect. Mogul will fall down. Dante has to try and get him. Actually goes on towards Schengen. Schengen does get the knock, and they will finish him off with the molly. Down to their final body now, and Doffy's a little bit further out towards the southeast. He has to med, as he is not engaged in this fight. He's taking a fight on himself, and that's with the blue zone.
MG3 or Demancer as well. So said we'll be finishing that off with the nade. I think for Team Nemesis, they are looking to close this one out strong, but PGG still have an outpost over on that northwest edge. Sort of have this wall of loot crates in between both teams too, so it's an interesting finish. We're kind of straight into the team deathmatch area of the map. We actually are as well, as funnily enough.
It looks like. So it's indeed going to pop the smokes. He has to try and cross. He's been limited on ammo. It's not 7s over 2. He does have the mini, so he does have some 5.56. Hive teasing maybe shots out from PGG, but doesn't quite happen. Boars though, they go YOLO. They go YOLO for a reason. Hicks will find one. Dante will get 1 and 2, and that will fall. 6th place for them. They need to get the res back on. PGG activated as well, as they're now crossing the road. They want to get involved. LCN though picking up Mogul. Quick kill steal from them. And PGG line up though to try and deny these teams coming in.
You may as well. Panzerfaust strikes short, but this plays behind on the hilltop, and they roll through. So with the MG3 just wreaking havoc on them, and PGG is a little bit too late to the party. Team Nemesis were way quicker on their invitation.
Still got loads of zones to run. I love these rice fields. You can sort of jump up and over. You're pretty safe as long as you sort of check off behind you. And we know PGG. We know that from the west they are clear. It's going to be a bit of a puzzle now for them of how far can they kind of work their way in. I like that Sloy's moving in already, taking towards the centralized part of the zone. He's going to try and stop the car. That will give him some cover. They would have seen that sort of BRDM, as that provides a lot more cover. But Diffix though, providing a helping hand just to send the car on the way. Presency though, how many times do you want to present this shot for Diffix though? The car is taking a barrage of bullets.
This is a lovely spot that he's going to get to play for a while too. Bit of natural high ground to play around with, but a bit of this slant as well, so it's good cover. Still 6 bullets left in the chamber. We'll be able to send these over towards PGG. And he only needs one of them as well, Mark. Really only needs one of them to connect. And then they can start to harass. But circle going a little bit out to the west. Mostly center. But this does favor over towards PGG. Damn, Diffix.
I felt that in my soul. You could see, though, they were looking at the kill feed. They were going, it's a 4 versus 4 versus 1. Where's the 1? And Diffix said, don't worry, I'll get it done.
Guy's been nutty from week to week. I mean, I'm actually still reeling from that last week bounce off the top of the RDM on the nade, like the one across the bonnet. See that one coming.
Comes one of another one. Player. Melman looking trying to bounce this one off one of the drops. He gets swallowed up in the rice field, and the drop doesn't help out. Sloy saved. There goes a smoke. Smokes are going to be critical for the end game. Second chance, second opportunity, and it bounces over the top. Sloy keeps his head down. Third could be the charm, and it is the charm for Diffix, though. Great 1-2. They deny the Panzer, and PGG, though, now unfortunately down to 3.
Yeah, your forward outpost going down that early with no real recompense. Really feel like PGG needs to start encircling a little bit there. What was the game plan, right? You're just allowing Team Nemesis to start walking up. I suppose they want to get rid of that high ground on the backside first. They're scared of Diffix, but he's happy just to walk up, and it's a well-placed nade. Diffix as well, with all these little crates here and there, actually does make getting that nade through a little bit more difficult. We saw Melman's nade was going on target, but bounced off one of the smaller crates.
I think Salik's been spotted him. I think Diffix also spotted him as well. But you're right, those crates are providing the cover that's like needed. I love the rice field endings. I like the play here. Diffix goes one side. Steve says, actually, don't worry, I've got this. Go back to the center. Apply the pressure, and the pressure he can apply. Hoovering up a lot of this util at the moment. And it looks like PGG with an 8-kill game so far, continually going back
my God,
get as much, I suppose, of that heavy util that they've carried in that vehicle the whole way. Good night.
Yeah, they're just smoking them out, dude, as well. Like, they're forced to drop these smokes down. It's the further that Team Nemesis gets in towards the circle. Now they control center zone. And this is PGG's game to win. It was only one player that really, I'm going to say, honestly, had the balls to move up towards our eastern side. Diffix going to keep sending these across, and he's just so clean with it.
It's like whack-a-mole, isn't it? Diffix style. Working his way down. Again, it was for me the clear call. Seed on the other side was like, no, you continue applying the pressure. Hey, have a peek over. BRDM, well, that's going to stop for one. Now Diffix steps up, and Diffix knocks one down. Salik down to 26 HP, 8 kills here. Team Nemesis down for presenting a final player from PGG. He peeks a boost. He says hello. He's going to find one. Now he's got an MG on the other side. So Fido has to come out, and that MG packs a punch here, and it will finish off 10 kills, a 20-point game as the clash of the clans went at the end.
I mean, well played, honestly. I think Presenti really is a strong player on that squad. Yeah. Over PGG, it just feels disjointed, right? Again, from that last game versus Construction Workers, you have to give them a massive amount of credit, though, because the only team so far that we've seen actually go toe-to-toe with both Construction Workers and Team Nemesis, and not look too terrible doing it either. I think both times I was quite impressed. I think that, again, for Team Nemesis, as soon as you give them a small bit of yarn, they're just going to pull the whole ball of yarn away from you. It's very, very tough to deal with. Again, I think they set up correctly in the late game. They lose their front man. And at that point, you need to play a super aggressive game, 3v4, to not allow them to take that center line. Otherwise, it's game over.
It's always, if you break down how Team Nemesis played this, and it is kind of like PUBG 101, I get that, right? But Diffix, he got the knock, but you saw he went for the wide angle. He knew if he played back, it's going to stop them kind of counter-playing. Yeah. Because being on that ridge in the middle of the rice field, it only would have taken Sadiq to come over the other side with the car, and he would have had a nice clean shot down towards Diffix. So instant move across. That's point number one. Point number 2 is that they actually had control. So players behind had the more information, was like, no Diffix, you go back to kind of be that spearhead of attack for us. I'll stop him coming over the other side. And Diffix was able to play ball, grenade after grenade after grenade. It pushed him back to the outside line. Don't take anything away from PGG. They held out and it was a good game and a better game. And as I said, they're a momentum-based team. So every game we're seeing, PGG is grinding the points down.
Yeah, I think for PGG, it's nice to see 14 points total, 11 points go through to Hive, which is not bad. Construction Workers still come away with 8 points on this game. Incredible stuff, really. Sadly for Yo, PMA, Jogo Benito, and X-Hal, they come into the game with not too many points. I think for X-Hal and Yo, though, both teams don't really care all that much about this, considering both of them, no one got any further towards the goalpost. For X-Hal, yes, it would have been nicer to get a little bit further away, but they're also just glad that Yo didn't do great after they went down first.
Well, we're down to a 2-horse race, I feel like. Construction Workers and Team Nemesis, total leaderboard for today. Easily. It is 10 points divided. Only a win can take apart, though, Construction Workers. If anyone else can slow them down, it has to be down to Team Nemesis. No Tags working their way up, and actually PGG also grinding up that leaderboard as well. They're in their sort of 20-point section with Hive and 6-7. For me, 2 more games, possible, yeah, but you need Construction Workers and Nemesis going down. This is now Master Leaderboard that they're fighting out for.
Yeah, it's hard, right? And I think that's the most difficult thing is for anyone below Team Nemesis and Construction Workers is like, yes, for no tag team, they could easily outpace Construction Workers on this next game if they have a big one. Unfortunately, you have to profit on both these squads, and both Team Nemesis and Construction Workers, they have some pretty damn good dividends coming in at the moment. It's so hard to get a game where Construction Workers or Team Nemesis aren't getting 8 to 9 points. That's on their worst games. Even so for Construction Workers there, they had a game, which is again why I wasn't really too unhappy with any of the players on that south side. It's like, what can you do? It's such a rough traversal over towards the northern edge. You are likely going to go down.
Yeah. Construction Workers obviously also not playing on their full force. I think he's up stepping in for the guys as well. So no full Gustav. So they're not slowing down anytime soon. So I do think the last 2 games we're obviously going to be loading up the plane for Rondo in a second. Then we're going to go back to kind of Erangel to close off week number 4. And remember, if you have just joined in, whoever wins today instantly punches a ticket to the playoffs for PEC day number 1. So all to fight for. I do think it's a bit of a 2-horse race now. So back to that other point, though, actually, it's going to be key that we see teams like Yo, like we see Voptrox, etc. Teams that are looking to try and grind that leaderboard up. And for X-Hal, they can't be going out early because they're one of these teams down that pushed into this kind of qualifying for day number 1. And I think it's critical for them just to kind of keep their momentum on. It's got to become down to how many points can we get out of every single game.
Yeah, I think X-Hal has this like almost flip-flop attitude where I think there's some really good games from X-Hal and some pretty poor games from X-Hal. The in-between isn't quite there yet. And I think for X-Hal, they could do so much more. I really do like this team. I think that as a squad, they're very much in tune with one another. It's just some of these games just aren't quite going their way. Now it's time for Construction Workers to win a game. Obviously, that's the way this is going to go down. So get ready for Rondo, Construction Workers, and then the winners of week 5 is likely going to be the toss-up between the 2 teams over on Erangel.
Or a wild card. Wait and see. A couple of teams that are unable to get into that game, though, which I would have thought would have done more. Teams like Redline, definitely a team which normally on I call it wildcard maps, but I know Miramar is one of them. PMA, not really seen as much from them as I would have expected. So they need to really come to life. And Team Yo, 0-point game, difficult. It's really not difficult, painful, because you know that this team can deliver. And as you say before, they've bolstered that with Cappy, who arguably, yes, was carrying a lot of Starry Sky's performance from the week before. Something's just not working out. They've changed their squad midway through. They've got some stuff to iron out. You'd expect them to get some points on the board, though.
Yeah, the thing that last game, though, I was looking back on it, and for a guy that last week said I just wish they'd gone for that crash onto the side of that compound and just given it, I don't think I could criticize them for that. because I think from that position they played in, I was glad they just sent it. Is a situation where they find the singular player inside of that building, they clear him out, and then suddenly they have a foothold on the south side of airport. So I personally don't think I can criticize them on it. I think that they did exactly what I would hope they did. It just, the outcome didn't look good, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I suppose in a defense, you wouldn't expect a team to be split that much apart, especially in that late game. Yes, you would expect teams to be ahead of you, but they've stacked up bodies into the location. What they didn't factor for is they've got a solo player, Connell's on one side, the other guys, there's a 2. It's like, or a 2-1-1. It's just, they're coming in late. They're not going to have that information. And airport is difficult to play. It's hard to build the momentum in the car just to get across clean. And obviously they're crashing into locations where you expect people. So I think they played it well. Like, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's just the outcome's just not good. Yeah, the outcome's just not good. Points. So again, I think that playstyle wise today, I haven't been a yo hater. Unlike last week, where I think that some of the moves I was iffy on. I think I was quite verbose about it, actually.
I love Yo. Everyone loves Yo. We'll have to see. Obviously, we're getting ready for Rondo. As I said, we are loading the plane now to get these teams and players in. Another wildcard map, a team which could maybe conquer. I do worry, though. We are going for a larger map. We've already seen the likes of sort of construction workers flex their muscles. We've seen Nemesis flex their muscles. But there is an opportunity. A good game, especially from that mid-leaderboard, that might change their overall, as I said. So the likes of Boars, PGG, I'll be looking at this game to see where they try and go, if they can try and grab zone early. But PGG are going to have to change their game style. They historically will go for center compound. They've just got some success coming on the outside. I think for Rondo, they've got to do the same. They've got to play the outside edge and work in slowly and pick up as many kills as they can.
Yeah, again, I think for a lot of our squads, there's certainly that case of just slowing things down a bit. Slowing it down, figuring out what we're going to do next. I think Team Nemesis is a good example to bring up here, where they play a lot of their games very, very slow up until the end game. And if you want to start picking up those points, like Exhal, it can't be. I think there's a lot of teams that stutter a lot, right? Kind of like your truck a little bit, if I remember correctly.
Mine's working now, mate. It's working.
It's working now.
It's working now.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not the defender, but yes, it started a lot. Hit and miss.
Unlike the defender.
Hit and miss. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Sometimes maybe good. Yeah, I think for a lot of these squads, there's a bit of stuttering going on. I think for Exhal, they stutter a lot on their rotates, where it's very fast, it's slow. It's very fast, it's slow again. There's no smooth approach to the circle. Joker Benito, another team that does that. Super fast in the early game. If things go to pot, the whole car's blown. So, yeah, I think some teams need to be working on that a little bit more. I'm rambling at this point. I'm yapping.
No, we're good for yapping. Waiting for one player to get in the lobby. I do want to talk about one of the other teams which I feel like has been stumbling a little bit, and that's No Slack. A team which I speak highly of, especially coming through, because they are sometimes nearly the top of the qualifiers coming through, and the level of they've been building. We talk about momentum. They've been building momentum over the weeks, and they finished off the last part of last year okay. And this year they've come back strong. They've kind of tried to figure out what their secret sauce is to the lobby. But this seems like a complete stall for them today. They've not had bad games. They've not had great games. They're just not showing presence enough. And I feel like for No Slack, some of the times when they get on top of the leaderboard, it's because they flex out a bit. They get their knocks and they aggress onto these locations. I think back to Erangel. Yeah, they got the knocks from the tower, but they just couldn't get the aggressive stance. They couldn't play. And it feels like today they're playing on their back foot. People are bullying them and they're unable to react to it.
Do you think that's kind of comes back from last week? You know, where they were playing Erangel and they had that aggressive positioning. They kind of led a couple of teams in towards that build, and then they just got swept, right? And that happened a couple times throughout last week's matches. I agree. I think No Slack's a good team in terms of kill pressure. It's there, but I think you're right. I think they've been rocked a little bit.
It's a cup lobby. It just feels like the cup lobby for them. They receive a knock and they receive. It puts them on the back foot, and then they can't seem to get out of there. We saw that from Erangel today. They got knocked from that tower, and instead of spreading out and taking the fight, they're kind of went back to this sort of like defensive mode play, and they were unable to survive. Everyone sort of crashed in. Arguably, the no slack we see through qualifications in that tower, if they could have played onto boards, if they could have played in and around into Yo, they would have conquered more space, they would have conquered more kills. And they like to play that kind of forward foot, like a sprinter on their toes, running towards the kills and not on the receiving end. Rondo has an opportunity for them to turn things around. There is more space, but they've got to kind of put that right foot forward.
Yeah, I think that in the early game, especially if they are getting kicked about a bit, it's 100% necessary that they have a little bit more space to play around, so that when it comes down to it, they can feel a little bit more confident. It's like, we're in the late game, we're not going to get third partied here. There's not going to be another team that's going to be coming across, and I think that's what they're worried about so much. Even in that, like you said, from that, it's a great point in terms of that Erangel, where we had Voptrox taking shots towards them. And yeah, it looked like they were so fearful of a third party. There was no one close to them. There was no one nearby. But we're heading into our penultimate game of the day before we crown a winner who will be going straight through to the playoffs. And we're missing a player. We're missing a player.
Unable to make it. Didn't pass security checks today, unfortunately.
Brought a grenade.
Out of here. We'll figure out who that is in a second. But playing path, though, for this one, our plasma game is a south towards the north. Does favour on both of these towards the west side of the map. As you mentioned before, it is a bigger portion. So some of these teams are going to have to take a leap of faith to get to their main sort of drop spots. Benito is going to be one of them. LCN, there you go. There's our third. I'm sure we'll get an update as to why. And they'll be looking to try and take the compounds as they stretch out towards that sort of north to northeast section.
It always surprises me the amount of teams that just don't play Test Track and Neox in this lobby.
I know why.
Go on.
It's the fear, because Twisted Minds and Navi go there. Like, why practice it? Because you've got to give it up if you qualify. That'd just be my motto.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. He is cooking. Yeah, that makes sense. I think again, it's a strong position though. It's like, but
not as strong as that position. At the bottom of a buggy.
Yeah.
We are 1 minute 56, 7 into the plane, and already a kill down. I think we do find that with the wildcard maps. I wonder if he's picked up the chip and put it into the buggy. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's the case, because obviously you can destroy the buggy and deny the ability to get back into this game. But it is the penultimate game. It is the one of the last chances for these teams to be able to sort of strive forward, and the zone goes really late. We go up towards the northwest. We do have the river dividing, and we have the temptation that it might be going back towards stadium where we saw Hive just put up.
That'd be fun. I enjoy that.
That's good. Yeah,
we have 62 seats available in the stadium.
It's more who can do the 100-meter sprint to get to the middle.
Yeah.
And it is a type who goes towards the high grounds. You tend to find those that go to the roof. They don't make it off blank. At that point, it's just how many kills can we get before we get pushed off the roof. So it is an interesting end zone to kind of watch. On the other side of things, Jogo Benito, and even before the zone starts working its way in, already starting to make the push here. And to the team that needs good points, that's going to be X-How. He's going to wiggle his way down to try and find an early point. And I think he might second guess that actually he was facing the wrong way when the opportunity presented it.
Yeah, I mean, even losing just one player at this stage of the game is really quite rough. I think at the moment, Cristalni's just trying to get a feel for how many players are in this area. Just the one, it's two, and X-How's quite split. So they might be able to catch this player as he's leaving. Flores is in a bit of trouble. Teammates off towards his north side. The game's been given away though. Immediately sprinting.
I don't know. I think he was puffing his feathers out. He was taking a couple of shots just to try and say, "Hey, I'm here. Don't crash in." And what he doesn't know is Jogo Benito, and
he's been watched for a while.
Yeah, that wasn't a deter. It was more of an invitation in. Benito. Oh, he hasn't reloaded. Oh my god! What a fail! Falls down. It's unfortunate. The shotgun would have been perfect for that. But for X-How, they find the first knock. They find the opener. Now comes the reinforcements. How much longer can he hold on as the team collapse on it?
That is the most confident empty mag pull I've seen. And of course, it's from Jogo Bonito. Onumavasi is down. Flores still up with the AUG. Decent shots that almost clipped him. A nade immediately goes in. Exhal is rebuffing Jogo Bonito. Odin will be completely flushed out.
Great nade. Oh my God.
That is a nasty nade. Yeah. Over towards Slaven. Across the way. Beyond the wall.
Just in that corner section. Just above the wall. Just beside the other side. Now they're going to try and deny. The blue zone's a little bit more rubbery, as we say. Bouncing off the wall. So it might not get the confirmation that's needed. No. This finds enough there, Noddy, to get the res back on, and Jogo Bonito backed into a corner, but for how much longer?
It's like a class nade followed up by some absolute badges. That was not good.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to look at.
It's a bit like me playing PUBG. Sometimes the bullets hit, sometimes they don't.
Oh, he's popping off, and I'm knocked. I've been killed by the pan. Yeah. I mean, for Exhal, though, it's bad. It is bad because there's no tag now making their way in on the sidelines of this too.
Yeah. High winds have now stopped. Exhal, you're right. They've got a third party coming in. The Mad is disconnected, so he's a write-off here. So it's going to be down to 2. And oh my God, Jogo Bonito, they came, they saw, they exited. 16 place for them. Unfortunately, if the shotgun was reloaded, it might have been a different outcome.
Yeah, might have been. Oh, like I said, I mean, he brought out that empty shotgun with such gusto, such bravado.
Click, click, click.
Dramatic entrance. And a dramatic exit from Jogo Bonito at this point in time. 6-7 on top of the pillar at the moment. This to me feels like a bit of a chill out, right? He's taking a break. He's having a little bit of a break here. You can see about 30% of his screen. Some great scouting going on.
Just right in the middle of the zone, though. So these pillars, obviously, they have been updated, so they will affect the zone compared to before. But he won't do that until phase 3. So river on one side. They might magnetize and see the zone come back this way. Most of our teams have committed to the south side of the water as well. So we've only got a couple here, Bob Troxto and Team Yo up on that sort of north side. Expectations are for Redline, PGG, and construction workers all sort of come in that south side. Redline have the option if they want to go really wide. They'd only go that way. They're blank if they wanted the glider. But that's a long rotation, like out to come back in for. I don't know, is glider's worth it, right? Yeah, kind of.
At these kind of zones, yeah, I'd agree. There's a lot of high ground to work around with as well. If not quite the Red Baron, but at least scouting tool would be fantastic. You know, as this quickly gets away with a little loot crate. A nice little skirt.
Links again.
Yes. So instead of the AWM, he's got the links this time. He's got the upgrade. It's like he's
Multi King,
taking these weapons between games, just upgrading them as he goes.
A shooting range for him, and all of us are as mere minions. Where he will send love bullets to get us denied out. Talk about opportunities to send some bullets their way. PMA have a neighbour, which I don't know if they fully understand that they're there, but Team Nemesis are setting up a little bit of a trap here. I wonder if they will collapse on in as we wait for that zone to collapse on in, and Exhal do get a body back, and actually going for that kind of test track. It's going to help out a little bit.
Yeah, Redline doesn't care. Look, he checked it. It's going straight past him. Why would you really? It's just an odd place to see it happen.
Oh my God!
Well, it feels like I'm back to 12 years old. I'm watching Robot Wars on TV.
Oh wow, that's some memories. I went to go see that once.
Did you actually?
Oh mate.
Oh my God.
All I'd say is the robots are a lot bigger in person, right?
Are they?
Oh, they're huge, mate.
Oh, I didn't realise.
They were huge.
Some monsters. Okay.
Yeah. What was that? What was the big one? The actual house robot.
They all had some insane names. The Decapitator.
Oh, I can't remember. It's going to do my head in. the big one had like rib cage and everything. It was huge. It's like the same height as me.
Robot was big robot. I've got Google.
Google away. You Google away, and I will keep an eye on what's going on with PGG chasing things down. They actually pick up Ivers here. Quick kill confirmed. So they're going south outside of the zone to pick up some kills. And PGG still want to stand a chance, and they need this. Remember, they're the lower part of the table, so they need to try and get as many points as they can to kind of finish off today and reset and pray they come back next week.
Oh, there he is. It's a killer lot.
That's it. Oh my god, that was huge.
That's a beast. It's like a knight's helmet on as well. Great big stabber. Anyway, it was a good time. Fantastic presenter. Probably one of the best.
And it was a bit of a big stabber at the zone because it's gone down to the southwest. So for some of these teams that are coming quite late, that are playing out in the blue and chasing some kills, they get a bit of a blessing. The zone shifts down towards Jiaoting. Stadium still holding in, but everyone's trying to centralize up, and No Slack now jousting with Team Nemesis.
Yeah, No Slack, very central. This is where you want to see No Slack playing, though. This is very much a good zone for No Slack. They do need to absolutely start blasting out of control. They need to set up the pitchforks, the oil, and just lock down this building, this area of the map. They're going for 2-2.
Let the early game end, right? Get the kills later. That could be big for No Slack here. Maybe the confidence boost they need.
I think they have to. I think that what they found a lot of success on was catching out teams early on. We're in week 4 now. A lot of teams have sort of read into this, and I don't think that No Slack is because it's funny. I don't think No Slack is a bad enough team to have to capitalize on cheeky plays like that in the early game. I think they're strong enough to just win in the late game.
100%. But it's that momentum they need, is that not second guessing the decisions. And obviously we don't have a full insights. That might be the case and might be clutching at straws here. But from what I've seen today, especially from those initial knocks that they've taken on Erangel, they're not playing to the way that we've seen them, taking fully advantage of them. But they've taken full advantage of the zone, that 2-2 split. They just need to keep teams at bay now. No tags coming in one side, construction workers on the other. All will be looking to knock on the door of No Slack. And actually the decision's been made to collapse completely. So they've given up that 2-2 split now. They don't even want to risk it that one of these teams might take advantage of them.
Yeah, straight back to position. Again, that is slightly worrying to look at though. When they're not quite sure of their own decisions. And I mean, nothing changed in that time. Like we didn't get a circle shift. There was no the circle's not pushing in just yet. There was no teams really around them. They just opted to change position already. They start taking a beating from Diffex, which tends to happen, to be honest. He's dropped the links, I think.
Is he? No. He did have the MK and the links. What I was questioning, I thought the MK was going in the back of the car. Is Diffex carrying an MK and the links? That's the meaning.
Links is in the car. Links is in the car. Okay.
Thank you, observers. You're like the person that ruins the story all the way through. Like you're just sitting at the end of the film, waiting for the end of the film, and then suddenly you just go, "Oh, it's going to happen this way." But no, I'd rather you give us the information. GG.
He gave us the answer.
You told me the end of my story.
Actually.
Yeah, it does. Not by the links, Mark, because it's in the back of the truck. Diffex keeping it for late game. Late game, Mark. That's what he's keeping it for. He doesn't want to waste the bullets early. Come on, Blank.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you get yourself a one and done in the late game as an opener. Really good stuff to hang on to. How long they're going to stay up here for? Like, sure, this is no longer a good move.
No, the zone was always going to pull away from it. The phase 3, phase 4, and phase 3 says goodbye. Nitro and then One-Eyed King needs to jump off the high ground, and lucky enough for them, Vopdrox maybe not even knowing how close to danger they were. They move on towards closer zone. They are going to have to try and thread the needle now. No Slack on the outside edge. Nemesis already taking shots from Diffex towards them. Actually back towards Jiaoting. So these fields, these rice fields, we already had a taste of it from Tago. We're going to get a return actually on Rondo as well.
Pick up in 6-7. Oh no, actually, sorry, just bringing some players back into the lobby. Hive. Taking shots over towards no tag team. Rafa gets himself up, but O'Connell did take a tumble. Unfortunately. PGG's doing a great job. I think that they've lined themselves up in a fantastic position on the south side to really take advantage of any team that tried to go for that really wide ramp. And right now, PMA's in a bit of disarray right now.
Yeah, they're literally playing this circle with no pressure now. Like PGG, they've set up their stall. Now there's the game plan. How many teams can they catch out? That'd be key. Unfortunately for some others, they've got, as I said, thread the needle as they do dance the gauntlet. Mixon only with the one smoke, can't come out the other side. Balls taking advantage of 1, 2, and 3, able to get away. PMA jump out though, and James rolls in. QBZ as Panasto finds himself getting the opportunity of the loot being given to him as he was part of the recall.
I mean, it looks like Gene's is having a bad day, but he's doing his job. He's doing his job. And he's scouting the areas. They're getting very unlucky in terms of what's free and what's not. Does that immediately takes down Mr. Brightside.
Really nice controlled aggression there from 6-7. Committing to the compound. Understanding that Team Nemesis is mostly split. Steed though, is playing that anchor player, that kind of support role for them. Now, as they look to try and catch what's in the loot crate. And so Steed reminds him there are more of the players. And Melman, though, gets an opportunity, gets a knock on towards Saturn. Now, for me, Team Nemesis 3 remaining. Do they commit to that compound 6-7? Do they look to try and get that recall chip? Or do they take advantage of one of the other compounds that are in front of them?
Kind of a curious shot from Team Nemesis over towards No Slack. This is to keep him at bay, stop him from peeking out so much. Remind them that they shouldn't have all that free reign from that building. Next shift coming in. Potentially down towards Jiao Tin. But it's over towards Paddy's, honestly. Goodness me. Got balls playing this area. This is a little bit of a weird one. This is a very weird circle.
Yeah, we see a lot of Jiao Tin sort of lose the zone, but you're right, it's later. Like, it's not this early. We normally have like at least a quarter or at least this zone sort of hold on to where Redline are or where XL are. This is fully committed away from the town. So these bodies that obviously are sent there in, and some of these teams, they've got a recall, and that's a nice place for the players to get some loot back again. But now this is fully committing them out. To beat up the nade, PMA stretches out though, goes for the seat swap, no exchange just yet. He does duck into cover. Vanasto is going to be there, but with so much noise being made, it draws the attention of lurking eyes outside. And Naleb finds himself for a 3-point.
I mean, Naleb's really on point today so far. Really good stuff, but PGG's still going strong. I mean, Redline is very much struggled to get anything done from this position. And rolling through. Presenti finally down, and Redline had to send for a Hail Mary there on side. I don't think Presenti quite expected it, but I like that play. I like that play from Redline. It was looking dire. This is one of their few options, and PGG now loses their backline approach.
Some really interesting cubby holes here out in the field, places where you can kind of pitch up a car, and there's these little bowls and sort of mounds where you are safe. You get so much information because you can lay down and lay low, and you get the opportunity to kind of peek over the top. Redline, you're right, had the better play. Now they're chasing things down because they want some big games here. Dino following the bus in. It's not going to be the case. It goes back to construction work as a team launching on kills.
Still 14 teams in the lobby. So it's quite a few at this stage in the game at phase 4, where it's such a rough area of the map to be playing on. Quite a few solos here and there. The 14 teams of 42 players is actually very surprising. This is one of these cubby holes.
Really good play. Yeah.
I just sit out.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about anything. Play the game for placements.
on how they position those cards as well. Cappy gets down at that quick kill confirmers. They're looking to try and find their way in. Excel, seeing construction workers, but seeing them in the kill feed so much, I would also second guess for a little peek over the top. That might give their level of confidence needed. The Mad takes a big chunk out of Naylor, but he's forgotten to reload. Now he has to get the reload on. Now he backs off the high ground. The rest of the bodies are coming his way. Let's see if they can get into util, because they have utility here. They've also got a C4 potentially they could use if they want to commit a car into this position.
C4 would be awesome. So you just have it roll over the top there, see if we get any damage done, and then just play off the back of that. Might be the play, because you're running out of time. Christian workers move up. The Mad now gets shot from the side and will be eliminated. That's from Rocks from Hive, in fact. It's a long distance shot. They can find one of the players from Construction Works off the back of that. Hive sets themselves in a very good position, but immediately Construction Workers realise the problem. They realise the damage, and they're immediately doubling back over towards that northern edge.
Well, someone else is not playing on the northern edge anymore. That's Team Nemesis. They've gone. Construction Workers now take the opportunity potentially. Or I'll be going Nemesis game 1, Construction Workers game 2, Nemesis game 3, Construction Workers game 4. We have to wait and see. The zone shift slightly away. Bright side has landed in the middle of the field. He has no gear whatsoever. He's going to have to try and keep his head down, and he has a lot of position to do it. Everyone else is kind of setting up their stall, setting up their game plan, and it is going to have to be from the outside in. Da-da-da.
Play it safe.
He needs to get to that tree. He's got to get to that tree.
The tree of life. Play. I mean, Brightside's moving back. I don't think he's got anything, right? He dropped in. Nothing to work with. No backpack. At least he's a little bit more covert, I suppose. Yo, in the meantime, he's going to drop down. Run! Oh, he's making it. He is making it.
Go! Everyone else is fighting you. Get away with it. He's going to make it. He's going to make it.
Oh, he's getting shot by Vop trucks, but I think they've got bigger fish to fry right now. Yo did drop down towards that south side. They cleared up some more space, but 6-7 with Nitros moving through now. Akanostra, who...
Right, money.
With only 3 players, have done not badly on this game, by the way.
No, they found really good position, right? I only got the one Molly, no more heavy utility. We'll send a barrage of flashes, but no push coming in. Ah, there you are. There comes a grenade over the shoulder. RL. Now 1 second effect, they're moving in. There's another pushing far further up the field, but they have to keep their head on a little bit of a swivel here. There's other teams are working their way in from the south. Next, you do find Fex, the Construction Workers, down now as they left 2 behind.
The Construction Workers sadly losing a few more, but looking like that 4th flip-flop of the day. It's not going to be there. Yo, making a big old crash over towards La Costa Nostra, as well as Bobtrix. PWT with the MP5. Okay, making a mad dash. He is absolutely not making it in.
It's difficult here though, right? You've got to keep such a cool head on a collapsing circle like this. And the advantage is these sort of rivers are going to swallow up a lot of the heavy utility. There's more of a splash party for Cappy. He gets charged forward though. Nade. He just needs one great nade. Voptrox, they're close together. Cappy launches forward but doesn't get the connection. Nixon charges out. Cappy steps for one, but he's going to go down. And it is there to save the day for Voptrox though. For LCN, they've got one down. They need to try and keep the push forward. But a team that can keep a cool, calm head as the zones collapse in. As Construction Workers, because the opportunity for them now as these teams are receiving knocks.
Everyone's starting to go a little bit lower here. No slight bomb shots. Boars, Hive, all with 4 players. And everyone else is just trying to live out on the opposite end of things. Marcel, get over towards Optrox now. Peeks over the top. Not quite finding anything just yet, though. And in hand. So unfortunate with Cappy. Not able to hit that massive nade they were desperate for.
Confirmation, Voptrox will go down. You can see charging his way forward. Tim Vile, who played on skimmer. So know how things work. LCM will fall. 6-7 have a neighbour now. Construction Workers have some space. Boars disengage. Did he find? Oh, he got some reinforcements. That hole there is crazy, but been found. And the blue zone will end both. We go for a top 4. It's only phase number 6. Hive, they've got 4. Board's got 4. No slack. Need a big game. They're still in the fighting. Oh, the big bounce there with the grenade. They got 2. Construction workers still remain here.
Yeah, I mean, they want to go further in this one. They want to confirm first over Team Nemesis. Not that it really matters on the tables, but it's a matter of pride now. Big nade. PEC over towards Rocks, but 1 cent back in return. Bard looking to take the wheels off. Pico. Oh, it just doesn't duck down quick enough. That is sad.
It's mad that construction workers make chaos look completely controlled. Like, they're just like in a different game compared to us. All these bullets and nades flying at them. And they're like, nah, we're fine. We got this. We're on 9 kills. What are you guys talking about? We're in a top 3 scenario. We just need Hive and Boars to start fighting, and then we can sweep through and take a victory.
Construction workers, they're going to get the buddy up. Now, there's the chance here. It's going to be very hard to make work. Marchel's found that Lynx, though.
That's a stolen
left
car.
Behind. By Diffex. That's a lot of cover instantly. The M79 into emergency cover flare is a kind of a sick combo, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that smoke launcher is really outstanding. Especially for breaching compounds as well. Box. A couple of shots. He's looking to try and get the res on. Have they got 2? No.
11 kills on balls though. Best game they've had in a long while. And for Hive, this is more of a return to form from them. I think we've been waiting for this kind of Hive for a while.
Yeah.
We know they're strong. We know they're really good. It's just, I don't know where this Hive has been.
It's just part of learning, like, how much of a zone you can sort of take off and take a bite of and find a compound. Hive, we know they like to play centralized compound, but we know they're heavy gunners as well. Let's confirm. I'm going to find another 2. Vard is about to say goodnight. Ain't with a folded shield, and with Boars now knowing that they want to take the 2-on-1 against construction workers, maybe denying them another win. Puts a little bit of a slow down, not a stop to their leaderboard climb. He just needs to try and hold on at least for 1 more placement.
Yeah, I mean, if you get 2nd placement, construction workers had a nuts day today. Senpai from Boars. See if we can spot him out. He's going to have to move eventually. They have a good idea where he is. 18 bullets left in the SLR. It's not a lot. But
no helmet, though.
Yeah, potentially. It really does require IC to go absolutely insane-o on Boars.
Great smoke wall. Senpai, I think, might just find himself a helmet. There you go. Found one. And now they can focus their attention. Really use the smokes effectively. Dante will find Hello Senpai, and maybe Ainsley will just find another placement point. That's God. 2 for the price of 1. And he says, we are done. Punch this one out. Construction workers will take 2nd place. As Hive, though, they try to find him, but it's not going to be enough. It's a win for Hive. It's a 19-point game, but the construction workers so close to punching their ticket for the 2nd win.
Yeah, he literally goes out of a bang as well, a flash bang towards the end of the game there. Very well played. For construction workers, it's not quite the Team Nemesis, construction workers, Team Nemesis, construction workers, but it's close enough. We'll take it. We'll pretend it's real.
We'll squint our eyes. It looked like it. Good win for Hive, though. But let's go back to your point. This is the Hive we are used to seeing. They swarm together, and for some reason, they've just not been looking at top of the leaderboard. Looking better now. Maybe that's going to be a confidence boost for them because they are up on that leaderboard, that overall leaderboard. But they are punching back in the last couple of weeks. So good for Hive. They get the victory here. They get the kills and they get the win, putting them on 19 points. But Boars. Wow, 17 points. Getting themselves ahead of construction workers.
Yeah, and they're surprised by that for Boars. I think they did a strong game here, 12 kills off the back of it. Hive also, I think it's just a very controlled game from Hive. I'm almost tempted to think this is Hive being... I think Hive could have pushed this game further. I think for them, this game was more about we need to prove to ourselves we can get a chicken dinner still, because we don't want to take any chances. We don't want to make any mistakes. We'll get as many kills as it takes, but no more than that. And I think it's a good confidence booster for Hive. I think for No Slack as well, they need to take this game with a grain of salt. I think the playstyle was great. The outcome was not amazing, but again, it's one of those things where it's just, this can go either way. I think No Slack could have easily won this game as well.
Yeah. Could have easily gone anyway, especially with that zone. And obviously finishing out in that field, that Joga Bonito didn't play well into the only 6 kill points for them. PMA red line. Now sit down on 5, so unable to kind of get the wheels moving. Joga Bonito were trying hard today, but the zones have been trying harder, so unable to get in. Yeah. They dropped to the right hand side that leaderboard, but LCN they find themselves just in 22 points, so coming to cut off in the 8th place.
It's funny that Exile and Yo are both like fighting off against one another. 17 points each. They have literally moved not an inch on the leaderboards, which is rough. But teams like No Tag, PGG, they're all catching up here and making it, because of this massive points vacuum. At the top, the middle of the pack is a scary place to be. It would actually be nice to check in with that leaderboard, actually, if it's possible. Thank you, Yo. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, construction workers easy at the top, but we're looking towards the middle with Boars actually ahead of Yo now on 67 mark.
Not good for this. It's not good for this. That's all I'm going to say. For those that have no idea what we're talking about, to qualify through to obviously the PEC playoffs, you have to get your way through the cups and get yourself on the cup leaderboard. And we've had 3 outstanding weeks where these teams have put numbers on the board. And with construction workers with 233 and Team Nemesis at 194, you're sort of punching the confirmation ticket already going through to that first stage. Because it depends on where you finish up. If you finish on 1st to 6th, you're going through to day number 1. And obviously, it does split out from down there. The curveball, the wild card, the golden tickets, they come from week 4, where we are today, and week number 5. Well, actually, the winner from today will automatically punch their ticket. Now, at the moment, we're arguably confirming out that kind of construction workers piece, and that's going to move those numbers down, guys and girls. So it's all store to play for some of these teams like this, who are just sitting on the outside. They are looking to try and find a way that they can get in on that sort of day number 1. I do want to highlight, though, top of this leaderboard, PGG. They're in 11th place here, Blank. They've had a great day so far. I know they've missed a couple of the cups, but this is setting them up for actually, if they can qualify again for next week, potentially a drive into day 1.
Yeah, potentially. I think Presenti is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, though, on this squad. I think it'd be lying if I said otherwise. I mean, the rest of the squad is good, but Presenti is definitely that heavy lifter. As soon as Presenti goes down, there is a clear shift in how this team plays. So I think that is something to be considered. But again, they've got more weeks, more time to really work on that teamwork, to really work on their in-game skills. So I think they've got plenty of time to do it. And if they can qualify off the back of just some good team play and then some clutch moments from Presenti, sure, go for it. They've already risen so far up the leaderboard. I think they've played, how many weeks now? I think they've only played 2.
2, I think.
Which is impressive. Which is impressive.
Yeah, because again, that sort of points per average, if you can keep them high enough, especially in a 5 map, you're laughing. Hive, we're on the other side of things. Had a great start. We didn't see him qualify. Didn't see him qualify. And when they did, and then they've come in now. Great game. That's now they're in 3rd. So they might be not looking for a win today. They might be looking for a reset. But you might be ticking their slot off as a guarantee for kind of that 1st to 6th without sort of the gold wild cards. And then it goes back down to the kind of X-Hows, the No Slacks, the Vis, the Boars, let's include the Yo that are here at the moment. They need to salvage what they can from a last game because they want to try and get into that top 6 position. Yeah,
even if you can get into top 8, like that's not a terrible place to be. Being outside the top 8 is scary. And the reason I say top 8 is that if both construction workers and Team Nemesis, or even construction workers 2 weeks in a row, win out on the leaderboards, we drop down that ticket to 8th place. In which case, that's where you want to be, and that's how you'll get in. So I think for a lot of our squads, you want to be in that top 8, and if you're outside the top 8, you got to get a move on. And Yo currently is in 9th.
For any of those fans that are FaZe fans, this is your old FaZe roster. So, construction workers, you should be cheering them on. They are looking in the driving seat, a force to be reckoned with to be able to get that qualification over the line. I'm intrigued to see if they do come back next week. Do they take it as a practice week? Do they take it as an off week? Maybe have time to reset. The option will be down to them, but we do have one game that we are setting up now, and it's all down to construction workers and if anyone else can catch up with them.
Unlikely, I think is probably the way to put that, honestly, at this point in time. I think it's very unlikely. I think for construction workers, this is important a masterclass. I think Team Nemesis has some incredible mechanical skill on side. Diffx, so strong. And their team play is great as well. But I think that construction workers outclasses them in every way when it comes to team play. I just think they're so good. And that's crazy saying that, looking at Team Nemesis and seeing how good of a team they are. Again, I'll still say that mechanically, I do think Team Nemesis has the edge. But construction workers, just that decision making is sublime.
But why are they always the bridesmaid and never the bride? Why are they always come in second place? Like, that's what I just don't understand at the moment, because every week they seem to fall into second place. Great for their point average, right? They're up there. I can't argue with it. Their gun skills are insane. Their hold on zones. I do think they telegraph what they do a lot. So when we look at kind of the Erangels and we do see those sort of E shifts, expect Steed to go up towards that top bit behind Lepovka. Expect the guys to sort of play in those positions. They're well rehearsed in their game style and game plan. Bring regional partners into the mix. Bring global partners into the mix. Will they look at that and go, well, there's a weakness that we can take advantage of? So they have to be ready for that. But I'm just surprised that they keep coming in second place.
Yeah, well, I think their playstyle kind of leans into it, right? With the amount of points that they're getting, and they're not pushing through that early mid game. They're not getting those mid game or early game points, which is fair enough. And construction workers just are. I think that if you were coming into the PEC Cups, though, with the mind of being in top 6, I think their playstyle is absolutely fine. So I can't complain too much.
We know when it comes down to construction work, the quicker you get it done, especially on a Friday, the quicker you can go home. Let's get ready to rumble, though. It is our final game. Match number 5, though, is coming from Erangel. All eyes will be on the construction workers as we'll fly our way in from a northeast down to a south central. And it does cut off a huge proportion of the map, but it brings into light Milton and Milton Power, where the construction workers will drop off.
It's a very eastern playing path, huh? It's very much over towards this east side. Awkward to play around with. The teams are popping out right now. And you're right. I think this one might just be all but settled for construction workers, which should drop our qualification spot to 7th after this, which is nicer for our teams below.
I wonder what we do on the leaderboard. We just scrub them off, just erase them. They never existed. They never were here. We'll have to wait and see. All of our players are now out the plane. Yogo quite late as they go for their normal drop spot. For Team Nemesis, they're going for their normal drop spot, but they're going for the hard spawn car at the compound, and then actually extend over towards Severny. And we are 5 seconds away before finding out where the zone is going to take us.
And we're back over here again. It's same old. You know, if you take 7 days in between each game day, then you get the same circles. It's like a weird little ritual we're doing on the show right now.
You could be right, mate. You could be right. I've got no evidence to prove you wrong, but it is early in the flight path. We are over on that east side. We're not going towards Military Island. I was fearful that we might go there for this game and this style of flight path, but it's going to come down to those teams. We saw Voptrots take kind of prison early. We saw a huge kind of hunkering down in the middle of the zone. We're going to have to see a huge game here for Nemesis and for 7G. They're having a huge game towards No Tag, a team on that kind of cutoff point where actually more kills or more points will secure their spot further into the qualification.
I think the No Tag team, they've had a really good day today. Yeah. I do want to praise them because coming from last week and then looking at week 4, wow, what an improvement they've made over the 7 days. I think they look a lot better. The team play looks a lot nicer. I think it is really important to highlight a team like that who, last week we maybe had some choice words about them, and some of the plays felt like, what are we doing here? But to take, those 6 days, really go on the grind, and then straight back into it. Rafa looks fantastic as well this week. Well done. Really big well done.
They've got it in the tank. Like, they're a good team. They are a really good team. How they move, where they execute to, where they try and hold up as well. They've got it. I think they're just trying to find their play style, as a lot of these teams are sort of trying to find their play style with the conversion towards TPP. McIntosh, though, finds an opportunity that he might be slightly behind the team here. He has to collapse him pretty early. They get a knock. They are sending it over towards the other side. That's right. He's going to be there right underneath O'Connor. As you can hear, the body's now working up. It's only McIntosh here. Buffy's on one side, McIntosh on the other.
Oh, come on. Help a boy out. Hasn't quite spotted him yet. Oh, he could have stepped up there potentially.
Oh, no. He's heard the cars. He's seen the cars as well. Voptrox sending it to heaven as well. They come on the south side. So McIntosh wanting to be the kind of surprise attack. He now has to go on the defensive. But Aniko, hey, why not take out Björn and slow things right down for everyone?
Well, that's nice of him, isn't it? Gonna help out a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, for no tag team, you may be losing 2 players here, but still impressed overall.
God, Grimes just running down Mixon. Like, yes, we heard your car. You can get the eye out. McIntosh going to be there. I think they expect someone might be upstairs. They don't know it's the secondary team. He actually catches him with the molly as well. Right, holding the higher ground. Unfortunately for O'Connell, has fallen down. The rest of no tags have to rotate round on this sort of west side, and just to add a bit more spice. Here comes in the red zone.
It's a messy fight. It's a real messy fight. McIntosh with the drop shot is very easily spotted out. Yeah, Beyonce getting knocked by his own teammate. Mixen walking up, trying to run away because he was on the forward charge, but the rest of his team was still resin. It's a bad one. It's a bad start of the game. It doesn't look great. No tag down to 2. No real possibility of getting those blue chips either because they're on the roofs. Ugh. Bit grim.
Yeah. This is game 5.
Game 5. Yeah, I was going to say game 5. Game 5. Yeah, that's right.
This is where we have to get everything on the line. We forget about all the 4 games, and it's a complete reset because we need to maximize points. That's exactly what's happening right here. And Voptrox, who having a good day, looked to try and take the charge, looked to try and take the third party, and they weren't ready to run over their own body. Now they have to try and avoid the red zone. Björn's on the outside. And for Bliss, you've got to remember, he's all the way back in prison at the moment. I don't know why he's holding there. Maybe it was just they just came this way to try and get some kills and get some points. But Bliss, holding down the position, he's now holding it alone.
I think he did wrap round, on Heaven. He wrapped round, then he went straight back over towards prison. I think this is after Mixen died and Bjorn got ran over, which would make sense. I would also just leave.
Zico. He's playing by the water well. Talk Benito. Find one. By the time find another. Zico looking for the third. Does get him as well. Down to 27 HP. Needs to reload. The M4 is going to be there. But it's going to be down to Slaven. It's aggressive. It's a molly. It's a quick finish.
Redline got to get back into this and quick. Fox with a nade pulled. Can't really see much. Amount of smoke pumping out of this vehicle. Actually, a very frustrating smoke plume. Covering off the windows. Ivers now with a nade of his own. Looking to pop it off the backboard. And catch him off guard there. But that's a nice run out. I respect the maneuver. Sadly, a little bit too quick on Ivers' side.
I feel like Jogger Benito have kind of gone back to we wasn't trying hard, Mark, because we know we're qualified. I feel like this is what they're doing in the last 2 games. They're just being disruptors. They're getting points. They're destroying teams early. They're seeing what they can get away with. Here comes the flash. The shotgun's going to be there. Oh, no. He gets caught. He unfortunately
himself out.
Gets confirmed out. Now, Simon's making the run, and he gets caught with the flash in his hand, and red line, the final player, the final opportunity, and I think the potential next target for one of these teams lurking the outside.
What a weird
He's getting the chips, though. He's getting the chips. He's got the 3 chips. He's going to get out of here. Oh, he's taking already a barrage of bullets. He thinks, no, I might just hunker it down. Save me.
Construction workers ain't letting him leave. Like, you've made a lot of noise here, boys. Okay. You know, the rave's gotta end now. Unfortunately.
Breath, Ivis. You've sent the car in the right direction. Press the W key down and send it out in the field. We know there's 100 people that way, but you don't.
Damn. What happened to PMA, man?
Yeah, they're gone. They were trying to hold out Team Nemesis. I was watching the map feed, and Team Nemesis just ran into a trap. But the trap
them away.
went the other way. Yeah,
yeah, that's unfortunate. See the aftermath here. Down to 44 players at 8 minutes. Last game we were at 44 at 18. Quite a difference here. You know, I think for Jogger Benito, this has been a disappointing week for me. I think this is probably their worst week. Funnily enough, which is sad. Yeah, it's sad though, because I really do like this team, but it feels like a lot of, again, stopping and starting, fights they didn't need to take, they're taking them. I think that team loves when they can carve out area, but sometimes you gotta realize that when you carve in, if you hit somewhat hard, you gotta stop, right? You gotta pull back slightly. Not always.
They're in the top spots.
I know. But is it... Again, I'm thinking forward. I'm thinking PEC.
Okay. Oh, I thought he was going PGC. I thought he was going to go forward. Okay. We're not writing the whole year.
No.
That'd be crazy on that.
I'd love for them to be a PGC, but... Hey.
Small steps, Mark. Small steps. We've got PC, EWC coming up. That work their way down. X out. Definitely. You remember, you got to work your way up, mate. One little block at a time, right? You're not going to let me let it go, are you? I'm committed to that all day. Like, look, we're going to have to commit to this West shift.
you got to hand out your 9th anniversary leaflets, man. It's got to be done.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Get everyone involved, mate. That's what it's about.
All right, taking a look at the circle now. Actually, I don't mind this. You know, you've got Dip to play in, any Dip as well. Not horrible. No Tag's going to get their team up. Uncontested as well, actually. Over towards Yaz. Doffy's there. Where was Doffy, actually? Was he like contingency? I think he must have been.
He's on his way back, yeah. Well, he was on that north side, and then... So they came from Yaz, didn't they? And then he held, and obviously chaos happened.
He had a look, and he was like, nah.
That's not a bit of me, lads. Got a few teams. So 7G's gone for the recall northeast. Now they're fighting against Nemesis Gaming, so Aphright has to give up on that and turn and tuck tail, because they have to stay alive if they want an opportunity to come back. Red line, we just seen the fight with them. Ivis held out, and he did go W key down, but he went the other way. He went across towards the west, back towards Pachinki. Now he should be able to get the boys back.
It's pretty central from every single squad here. Everyone's looking a little bit of the pie towards the center here. We'll play around these rows, play around these ridges. Makes sense. No one's confirming over towards any buildings just yet. Rather spread out towards the center area. As I said, fine, 7G, grown. Let's run down. They're just holding this northwest side. Fair enough. I mean, they could play off the lake, the buildings there later on if they wanted to.
It's hard to hold here, though. Surely, you can get away with it, but what point does teams want to take a full advantage? 6-7. The dancing rounds. As I think Brightside's just waiting for this. Oh my god, turn around and get the BRDM. Hit the handbrake. Quick, get it free. That was a mistake.
Yeah, what was he thinking? At least get out on the other side.
Yeah.
That's happened way too many times during the cup.
It's a confidence boost, mate. It's the ranked play. BRDM, I am indestructible. And yeah, then you find that you're not. I love how quickly they hit the handbrake as well. Like, oh, free B on him. Let's get
Thanks, bro. He barely even hit the grave. It wasn't even in the grave yet. Already he's having his vehicle now. It's crazy. La Cosa Nostra.
Oh, Michael.
The dip is okay, but versus the mortar, it is very bad.
Look at this, construction workers trying to get as close as they can to get the steals. And Michael's just trying to zero in. Michael's clearly looking for some more mortars as quickly as he can. He's done the damage. Grenades come over the top. Yo, they can't get close enough. PWD, he's been turned away by Fex. Z will hold out. Now Vard, now Ain't C ready. They're going to line up the utility dump as well, so they'll wait for the reses to come through so they can make full advantage of it. There comes one. There nearly gets two. The car's going to explode, and Vard lining up the second grenade, looking for the confirmation, and LCN going down. Cargos gets the confirmation, and they are now falling.
Madness. Actually, madness. The nades from these guys have been fantastic. And La Cosa Nostra just throwing out a couple of their own. Nade goes up, and so does the rest of La Cosa Nostra there. Fantastic stuff from construction workers. And also, they know that the mortars have already gone off. So likely there isn't any mortars left remaining. So they could play different if they wanted to, but I think this team doesn't like to be constricted to small areas like this. They'd rather play a little bit more dynamically.
Ain't he's using the aggressive horn. Just to get rid of BGG. Get up, me, my place. Do you know what? They heard the cars, they got in the car quickly. So I'll give them that. They could play the dip, but now they go for the 2-2 split. Voptrox see them potentially moving out. And Vex, though, unstoppable with the DMRs. Catches one, and he catches the second. Oh my God, the Welsh Dragon breathing fire across, laying waste to Voptrox.
Yes, it is crazy. I mean, I think it is somewhat unfortunate looking at it sometimes, that the gap in skill between construction workers and the rest of the lobby. It's very clear these guys should be signed at some point. Let's be honest. Like, they're very good. We'll see how far they can make it through. I think very far. I think PGC, actually, you know?
It's the same.
I'm going right ahead.
It's the same like team, right? But just something's magical about them at the moment. Team Nemesis unable to fund the glider. They've taken emergency pickup, and Diffix is now trying to scout a way in for the team. Don't forget they're working in from that sort of north side. They're coming in by school flats at the moment, so it's kind of scouting this south side. So he's looking for the movement. He's looking for the teams ahead of him. At the moment, he's not been spotted.
Not quite yet. He's playing right on the edge as well, so there's a little bit more to work with. Surprised PGG haven't looked up just yet either. They have now. They've seen him taking shots over towards Diffex. But that's like the go signal for the rest of Team Nemesis, who are zooming over. Immediately looking to take position. For Yo, this is an important game. X-House playing themselves on a 2-2 split, and right now Yo's kind of diametrically opposed to X-House, their direct competition.
Team Nemesis are trying to get the win, right? Yes, they might be on 50 points. Yes, construction workers are on 75, but I still feel like today has been about these two teams. It has been about how many points can we get, and one's chasing the other. Zone shifts back towards that sort of east. We're getting that same style of zone. Construction workers in a dip, and they might collapse their 2-2 split. They don't need to, but they might try and hold out a little bit longer. The rest of these teams, really difficult, especially if you're on this sort of west side of the zone. Where do you play? Anything Yo have got an opportunity. They've already cleared out that dip, so that gives an opportunity to sort of go into the Mad down to 24 HP, and he's just letting all the cars fly past.
I mean, X-Hal is taking a bit of a battering. They're catching, pretty much just catching strays as teams passes through. Everyone knows they need to move immediately. Red line are redlining out on the sidelines. Schengen starts to pass on through here. Zico goes down to PWD. That's from Yo as they're playing this western edge right now. They're just on the edge of the circle itself, but Hive finally makes it over towards this area, and they find themselves in the midst of absolute carnage from earlier in the game.
What's crazy is with so many teams rotating on that west, like it's hard because you're getting these knocks and you want to try and confirm, like, inside, I need to get points. I've got to get these points, but you don't have the time. These points are going away to other teams. You're like, this is not the team I needed to go to, but they found a position. At least they found a kill. Nitro will fall down. So for 6-7, there'll be no more silliness here in the lobby. For Team Yo, desperate for points, desperate to try and flex out, but so far been unable to do so. Been put at bay by construction workers. They recall their way back here. Cappy, let me in. James gets in the car. Cappy has to drive him back to safety.
It only tickles him for 20 though. Not too bad. Just drive on over, park up. And Yo's not quite in the zone, but they're going to try and capitalize on any players trying to sweep down towards the south side and shelter. Technically, Yo as a 4-man could play out over towards shelter and on Team Nemesis and PGG.
They're kind of in there though. They could just hold out a little bit longer. I know they're looking for somewhere to go now. And you want that information, you want that position to sort of like, this is where we go and now. But at this point, with so many teams migrating from the west, just hold your location. Keep the cars alive, keep them active, and get ready for that next shift. Get ready to be the last team now on that west and try and farm these points up, because for a lot of these teams, it's ensured destruction now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. To be honest with you, a lot of teams would want to swing down towards the south side anyway. Well, they're going for dip. They're going for dip here, Mark. Yo's moving in.
Double pans! Destroyed instantly. Hive double panzered them. The cars eventually knocked him, but they had the bodies. Can anyone jump off the back of this one? No one's there. Yo saw the opportunity for the dip. What they didn't factor in was a double panzer defense.
They
haven't stopped. Oh my god, Hive have been activated. Someone has stung the Hornet's nest though. There's another one down. Connects how finish it up. Mogul going to be there. He's going to fall. It's going to be down to Dante. 1 versus 1 as he turns and swings by the car, rolling his way in.
A double potentially here, trying to spray through the vehicle. Flashbang goes out, quick switch. He's out of the way. Dante gets the reload off. Now looking back, grenade dropped to the floor just in case he needs it. There's a quick switch through again. Might find him in the nades. So well placed.
What a magician! He just completely disappeared into the smoke. Hive now on 10 kills. At least someone's coming out on top of this chaos here. No Slack want to get involved. Maybe they can get an opportunity. The cars come in. He's sticking the reds.
So
he gets the opportunity. Doffy's giving him a save at least as Doffy's denied them, rolling straight into the dip.
Oh my goodness me. Yo and Exhal both just descended into Dante's circles of hell. What an insane play that was. And you're right.
So close as well.
Absolute magic. Absolute magic, that nade. And the fact that he didn't confirm any of his teammates with that nade is incredible.
They were so close with the panzers, like they were holding hands.
Yeah.
Like 3, 2, 1, shoot! Boo! Like douche gone. And Yo just disappeared into the abyss, and that seat swap was to perfection. They were both flashed, and he went, "Oh, I'm gonna play a magic trick through the car out the other side," and he was just left going, "Where's he gone?" Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. Pulled 10 kills out of the rabbit hut.
And now we've got 6 teams left. And I've got bodies back. 3 out of 4. And now they're putting down a mortar. Who's next?
Just an insane game. Insane game so far. Really, really well played by Hive. I mean, again, for Yo, what a horrid day it's been. I mean, imagine having this day where you... Ooh, nice one, actually. Having this day where you finally pluck up the courage to make these kind of plays. And the thing is, I don't want them to stop doing this. I think that it's good. I'm glad they're going for these plays. But you can't predict. There's no way they have another Panzer. They have another Panzer.
Oh no! There's 2 again! Jumps from the seats into the fort, and there's There's another one down. Rock's now playing the magic tricks. 1 versus 1. The cards explode. It blooms out. IXE gets a grenade, goes over the top. Rock's the damage back, but unfortunately he falls and the B is swatted down. 6 plays for them. Explosive action yet again. And unfortunately for this bowl, it becomes more of a junkyard as Queso swings through. IXE gets 1. There's a secondary potential, and there's a second one with 4. What is going on, Blake?
Oh, BGG's on the way as well. They're round the side. It's all over the place. No one can quite figure out where anyone is playing. IXE still going strong on no slack. I was going to try and get as many kills as possible off the back of this. Well played. Makes sense. But no slack, any point counts here, especially getting over towards that top 7, because I think at this point in time, it's all but confirmed. Construction workers will be at the top.
Surely there's no more cars left in the whole map of Erangel. It's just a bloom of black smoke that you can hide in. You don't need smokes from here. You just need a little bit of zone, and it's going to get... He was at a point he's just reminded to go pick up Sata. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, let me get you up. I need you in the top 4.
What a game. What a game.
Sata must have been screaming, pick me up. Actually, pick me up. Have you seen what I've just done? Have you seen what I've just done?
I actually probably just like, I'm sorry, bro. I have to take a timeout, okay?
You just, how can you even see?
You can't. God. This is madness. It's absolute madness. And my favourite thing about it is PGG dipped. They were like, actually, we want nothing to do with this.
It got, obviously, yellow smoke goes in. MG, maybe taking it on. Vex pulls up. Car's going to be there. Let's add more and more cars to the junkyard. Vex, though, sticks it to him with the MG. Gets a confirmation. 10 kills for them. Ainsley's down because you can't fight with a buddy in the dip of doom. You have to fight as a solo.
Oh, this is an incredible game. Vex moves up, and what a better place for the Welsh Dragon, but in the pit of flames. Here, Mark. Team Nemesis moving in. PGG does find Diffex, but Fex has got a nade of his own. Let's send it over the top. Might roll nicely, but they'll be finished off first by Steed.
It is 4 versus 1. 1 is Nox. Fex now looking for any 762 he can find. And why not? They pump whoever put the flare up at the time. GG's. The Welsh Dragon is sitting on his treasure trove. As Nemesis Gaming, they never go down without leaving a boy in the ground. They want to fight this one out of 4. Vex looking to see what he can get in the cookie jar to try and back things up, though. He launches out a shot, and it's going to be Team Nemesis. It's the 3rd victory for them, and the Welsh Dragon slain. But 11 kills for construction workers in the 2nd place.
24-minute match on Erangel, by the way. Yeah.
What did I just watch?
Yeah, that was a game. That was probably one of the best games of PUBG I've seen in a long, long while.
How many cars were remaining at the end there? Like, it kicked off with Hive, that double Panzer holding hands. They just launched out to oblivion. and then it was just team after team and magic trick after magic trick until the magic ended with a dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a Dragon Ball Z moment with the Panzerfaust, wasn't it, really? Twice as well.
And I actually thought that no slacks cars were getting so close together that that one Panzer might have affected for 2, but it wasn't the case. The car actually run over their own, and every time that we ended in that kind of junkyard fight, which wasn't too far from junkyard, it was always a 1 versus 1. You couldn't keep bodies up. It was like a gladiator's gauntlet.
Yeah, it was like Robo Wars.
Yes!
We're here on the scoreboard. 20 points to Team Nemesis. Construction Workers with 17. And no slack with the 14. So Team Nemesis will at least keep up the tradition of every other game getting a chicken dinner for today. But 3 chicken dinners on the day is still not enough to beat out Construction Workers. Can you believe it?
That is mental, isn't it? How can you get 3 wins out of 5 and still unable to deny the Construction Workers? They built the tower. It wasn't a leaning tower Ibiza. It was Construction Workers, well foundationed, 86 total points. And more importantly, they are the first team to secure their ticket towards PEC playoffs. Great, well played for them. It is a big GG's, and they've done it the long way.
And I think for Team Nemesis as well as Hive, I think at this point in time, you can say for both these teams, likely locked in now. Really good final game there from Hive, and it felt like today was just a ramp up for Hive where they refound themselves a little bit, which is great. For PGG and No Tag Team, big round of applause for both of these squads. I think that they have evolved coming through from last week into this one. Really, really well done.
It was really well done, and there are. There's our number 4 winners. So they stay on the leaderboard. We've not struck them out just yet out of our hearts and souls. And you got to remember, this is a phase roster, a global partner team to regional partner team to a team which has been banded together, doing it the hard way. And every single game they have maximized 250 points they land on, but they land more importantly with a ticket, as I say, towards PEC playoffs.
So we'll be definitely seeing them there, alongside with some familiar faces on Team Nemesis for sure. We'll see if they win it out and give another team an opportunity towards the bottom of the leaderboard here, or will we get a wild card next week? Yo drops down towards 10th as PGG laps them on 64 points, Boars on 69, and Exhal don't really move at all today. 87 points. I feel like that's where we saw them earlier.
Yeah, they're big up and down, but I think the key takeaway now for this screen for me is this. This are the cutoff point, second down to 7th is obviously our top 6 teams.
Wow.
And they've got to qualify. So we go back to that like level of pressure. What teams can deal with pressure well, and you've got to look at yourself now if you're this and set your game plan for the final week. Because if we see Boars come back, PGG for the second time, they are, as you said, lapping teams ahead, and we can't take away teams at the bottom here. No Tag, like launching their way up, and the Myth-Off not making it this week is that 1 week they've missed. That could be basically a factor between them coming in day 2 or potentially even day number 3.
This is a crazy week as well, where so many points were up towards the top, and then very few select teams were able to really profit off this one. So I think it's interesting because not like you said, No Tag Team, etc. managed to go far up. Let's take a look at our final page here with all the teams that weren't quite able to make it in. Some of the games that we had today for 7 Gaming, where they get 14 points. Redline on 22. I think Redline definitely have learned a lot whilst playing in PEC, but I don't think this is enough right now to make it through in towards a qualification spot outside of that crazy victory on week 5. It really is all about that wild card.
I'll second guess that. I'd argue if Redline can come back next week and do another consistency level of play, they do need to get some more points, then maybe that we see them sneak their way into kind of a top 19. But I would take a point with a team like PMA. I expected high things for them, especially for today. They're working their way into the leaderboard, and they're just not performing to the level that I would have expected. When I look at the names on that roster, they've got to completely reset, but also reset their game plans, because they're going to have to qualify, and they've got to bring something really big for week 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think a lot about the top 6, and but yeah, it's still, you can get into top 19, and that's absolutely fine. But what a week it's been. What an incredible final game we had there, Mark. Honestly, ridiculous stuff. But I think with that, that's about it. We're going to close the show out. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you guys at home. Appreciate production, who have had some insane observers today. Incredible stuff. Glad we were able to catch everything on that end game there. Not much to flip around with because all the players came to the cameras, which is absolutely fine. But we'll be crowning a new winner next week. So make sure you tune back in. We're here on Saturday. Don't miss it. I've been Blank. That's Mark Powers. We'll catch you guys in a bit. See you soon.